I have a wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.
We got to the point where we could control the laws of nature by advanced electronics.
go always. Don't you see the mess you made? Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. I think we need to go always. Don't you see the mess you made? Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. I think we need to go always. Don't you see the mess you made? Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe. Yeah, I'ma hit the road, babe.
Well, folks, we know you have been waiting for this one. It is a match for the ages. Welcome to the closed qualifier for Valorant Challengers North America. I am your host, Elizabeth, and it would not be complete without the man, the myth, the legend, and the carry, Mr. Roy Stronglegs himself, joining me on the desk today. Roy, I know people have been asking you for the co-streams, for whatever it may be, and we brought you here with us.
Yes, the propaganda machine is in full effect. I'm here to spread the word. 2025, year of the women. Nah, just kidding. But I do love it. We've been waiting for Valorant. We have Valorant. Now we can all just rest easy. We're here. There's a stream, the final match of this bracket, and this will decide the final team to advance up into the VCL Split 1.
Right, that's right. We have Blue Otters and Winthrop University already qualified. So it's either going to be Shopify Rebellion GC or, excuse me, I just had to cough like a little bit. Pardon me. Or Funhavers. Obviously, we have the participating teams who tried their best coming through the closed qualifiers, put up some amazing games, including Shopify Rebellion and Funhavers. But so far, it has just been Winthrop and Blue Otter who have been able to qualify with one spot open, as we kept saying. It is something that we've seen you guys talking about all over socials. You guys have wanted the streams. You guys have been stalking VLR, stalking Reddit, stalking these players' profiles and socials just to see who will make it. And we finally have a stream for you today, which is something I know a lot of you have been waiting for. So thank you for your patience. And looking at the bracket, this hasn't been an easy, like a walk in the park for anyone, Roy. It has been it's been a hard road for both teams to get here.
Yeah, absolutely. And do not be fooled by the 2-0s on any of these series. Every single match has pretty much been hard fought, aside from maybe like one game. But almost every series has gone to the full distance, almost 24 rounds per map. The competition is extremely tight.
Yes, and I don't want anyone to think that the game we are going to have today between Shopify Rebellion and Funhavers isn't going to be a close one. These are two teams who have fought tooth and nail, have demonstrated tenacity, have demonstrated patience, and I am honestly I'm more excited for these games than the VCT games this week because this is such and dare I say I'm a little biased, but
a little biased
because for those for those of you unaware, if Shopify Rebellion wins this game, they will be making history as one of the first GC team to make it into a Challengers League, and of course Funhavers earning their spot all the way through the open qualifiers, kind of running the bracket. Have been competing for weeks now, I think, Roy. Again, showing that tenacity that they have. Both teams have shown they deserve it, but unfortunately, with the nature of competition, only one of these teams can make it. But it is very exciting. We have some incredible players who I think have demonstrated for everyone to see that they are worthy investments. They are insane players, that they are, putting their time, their efforts, and whatever it may be into these games. And obviously, we have both Shopify Rebellion GC joined with the new player, Dononut, who came over from FlyQuest Red. And then we have Funhavers down here with Blast, Corrupt, Pyro, Tim, and Zeki. It would be remiss if we did not shout out Corrupt. They are also a GC IGL, LML. So we have some nice GC rep on both teams, which will be exciting nonetheless. So Roy, I mean, looking at these rosters, these are some powerhouse teams we have here.
Yeah, I think there's like some kind of conception of like, oh, these are tier 3 teams. These guys, they can't really be that good. How much practice have they really had? But like, no, these players have been in VCL before. There's so much experience on these rosters. Like players like Blast, who have been competing pretty much since beta, since the launch of Valorant. Like they've been around. These are almost veterans in the tier 2, the tier 3 scene. The gap is extremely tight. There's really no more like, oh, tier 1 teams are so much better than tier 2 teams. Like if anything, the last year has shown us that the gap is extremely tight. the series is going to be good, and I think it's going to be an incredibly action-packed series, and I think we're going to see a pretty high level of Valorant here.
I think one thing that Golden Boy says on the VCT streams all the time is, he's just said it for the last games, is please watch Challengers. And if you haven't been watching Challengers, I'm sorry you've missed out. Genuinely, yes. I'm sorry you've been missing out for these insane games where kind of the creme de la creme of tier 2 plays, and that's where our talent comes from for VCT Americas or anywhere else. Sometimes, you know, they can go to other regions around the world. This is where they are formed. This is where they are bred. And these players are here proving themselves, like you said, or since beta or since whenever they started, that they are willing, ready, and able to take up the spot when they're called. But again, there's only one spot left for the first split of Challengers, and it's either going to go to Shopify Rebellion or Funhavers. But we're going to pause for a little bit and focus on Shopify Rebellion GC for a second. You know them, you love them. They are 2-time world championship winning, back-to-back the 2-time, or 2 belts, as we say in wrestling. But we like to put focus on Dodonut. And if that sounds familiar, it's because you probably have seen her on FlyQuest Red. I believe holds the kill record for GC. Off the top of my head, I believe. But after Floor made her way over to Apex and EMEA, which we all celebrated, and we were all so happy for her, that are left a floor-sized hole to fill, and Dodonut has been selected to fill it, Roy.
And I think she's done a really good job at doing it as well, right? Like, they're completely separate players. I think it's really important for most people to kind of keep that in mind is, yes, Fluorescent is a very good duelist, but so is Dodonut, but their playstyles are not really the same. So the way Shopify is going to have to integrate Dodonut, the way they're going to have to adapt their playstyles, of course, with the new map rotation coming in as well, like things are going to be shaken up here for the Shopify Rebellion side. But I mean, you know, Mel and Effie's, they kind of have that on lock. That's sort of their specialty. They've sort of been at the helm of, you know, adaptation and kind of working with the players that you have and making sure that you're able to make everyone feel comfortable and confident. And that's sort of their trademark.
Yeah, I think the one thing I want to highlight for our viewers is that while Floor and Dodonut may share the duelist role, the entry role, they are different players. They have different play styles, and it's not just a one-size-fits-all sort of thing. And that's what makes team-based competition so interesting and so unique, is that in this space, Dodonut has had a relatively, Shopify Rebellion have had a relatively smaller amount of time to prepare for this with a new duelist on the team, which is such an integral role to, excuse me, this team. But someone who has been on this team since forever has been Madam President herself, Miss Noya, the president of Denmark. We salute our president, Noya. She is someone who has been so consistent and so good for so long. I believe she has the best stats on the team of the Closed Qualifier currently, Roy. Yeah,
she's actually leading the charge in terms of stats. I mean, Noya has been a really strong force on Shopify Rebellion, but she's almost always been overshadowed by Floor, really. And now that Floor is gone, I think Noya has a little bit more room. There's a little bit more stats to go around, and I think Noya's finally able to kind of come in and scoop up that sort of star player sentinel role that she's always like pretty much meant to be. I think she's doing a really fine job at it because she's sitting in the top, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, in the top 6 overall in the tournament. So, I mean, statistically speaking, she's just a monster right now.
I mean, if you've been joining her streams for her partner push, you know that she has been an absolute monster for years. I've had the pleasure of watching her in her stream, and I apologize for clearing my throat again, but I've been watching her, I've been watching her stream, and she has been grinding for so long and is someone who always wants to improve upon herself and sees, you know, always there's more to do and there's more to improve upon, like a true president does. So if I don't see any 07s in chat when this airs, I'm going to be very, very upset that we are not saluting.
Boo, tomatoes to no one that's to people that are not saluting.
But moving on, Shopify Rebellion, of course, will be facing Funhavers in this match, and we wanted to highlight 2 players on Funhavers, starting with Pyro. Now, when we were looking at the players, Roy, Pyro really stood out to both of us, Roy.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it's easy to get stats when you're set up as a duelist. It's easy to get stats when you're set up on the lurk position, but one of the hardest roles to like actively pop off on is the info initiator. And that's sort of why we wanted to highlight Pyro, is the fact that he is that player. He's sort of taken on like the Vernal role, right? Where like you are sort of a star player within the info initiator role. And he's been doing incredibly well throughout the closed qualifier in terms of popping off and putting up stats in this sort of a support heavy role.
Yeah, I think the one thing, especially if you're newer to Valorant, is one of the first things you learn, especially with like the agent select screen, is that duelists are expected to get those high frags, as on the entry. That is their job, and while they always do. We just showed Dodo Nut. Pyro is someone who really stands out as someone who is reliable in the way that you will always see them doing well and having those high impact roles. Someone else we wanted to highlight in kind of a similar sense, Roy, not the duelist, but someone who has just really been shining in terms of just raw firepower, is Blast. Blast is the sentinel for Funhavers. And again, one of those things when you're looking at those raw stats, just very impressive for someone who's on that lurk that, doesn't really quite get a lot of action, Roy.
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually been a big fan of Blast for a long time. Fun fact, I've sort of tried to pick him up on multiple rosters. Unfortunately, it never really worked out. But he has been a really strong, very well, like fundamentally sound. He's just a fundamentally sound player. And now he's sort of shifted from the controller into the sentinel role, a sort of like similar playstyle adjacently, but it opens up a lot of room for that lurk plays and sort of, opening up the rounds in a different kind of way than the duelists are, right? And that's sort of why we wanted to highlight Blast, is he's in that perfect role to do so. And he's going to be an absolute menace and probably a key point for the Funhavers roster to make them more dynamic in the mid round and in the late rounds.
Yes, never doubt anyone on any team. As like that's such a cliche saying, but I have to bring it up because this Valorant at its core is a team game that needs everyone to perform well. It is 5 perfect pieces that have to fit together. That's how these two teams got here. I think people may think that it's this person and friends, etc. But no, everyone has to perform. Everyone has to work together. This is a team game. If you listen to these players when they upload clips to their socials from these qualifying games, they are communicating nonstop. They are hyping each other up. And these are things that definitely are things you can't overlook when looking at these players and overall teams. But speaking of teams, these teams have had to do picks and bans. That's what we call a segue in this business, folks. So,
oh my God, that's why
it is a best of 3, and we have the maps for you. Roy, when we got these picks and bans, you said something that you believe that there was a winner of the veto.
Yeah, I do think there. Okay, so let me start off by saying this: Shopify Rebellion has banned split first almost every single series for the last year almost, okay? But this time they floated it. They banned bind first, and that makes complete sense because that is Funhavers' best map, statistically speaking, and by watching their VODs, it is they have a very unorthodox playstyle on the map. They don't run initiators, and they have this very crazy playstyle. So I think Shopify Rebellion has had to respect the veto, and they've had to respect the strengths of Funhavers by sort of shifting and taking risk in the veto, which has kind of allowed them this sort of advantage in this veto, right? Because we're going into Fracture, a map that both teams are very strong on and very confident in. But then we're going into Pearl, a map that Shopify Rebellion is very confident and they're very comfortable playing that map. But Funhavers have not really had too much success on that map overall. So it sort of, to me at least, feels like Shopify Rebellion sort of put themselves, by taking that early risk in the veto, they sort of put themselves in this kind of superior position in terms of what maps are there, what maps are going to be played and what size they're getting on those maps.
Yes, I also think, we talk about, this is such a big game. There's history on the line, obviously qualifying for challengers on the line. It only being a best of 3 means you have to be very specific and very tenacious with your picks and bans, because you might want to float something that isn't something that your opponent suspects, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this isn't a best of 5. This is a best of 3, and every map matters. It is.
Yes.
There is very little room for error, Roy.
Absolutely. I mean, I think this is it. This is going to be an incredibly good series. I think the first map, if we do somehow end up on the third map, I think the Haven is going to be an absolute brawl. Both teams are pretty comfortable playing that map. Obviously, Haven has been a sort of staple map for the Shopify Rebellion side for a long time. But Funhavers are also super comfortable on that map. They're on a 5-2 record on it since the closed qualifiers. They're doing extremely well. Both teams run the same composition, so we're going to see a mirror matchup as well. So I think overall, this is a very, very good veto, and I think we're going to see some pretty fun Valorant.
Well, Roy, you said something. I need to harp on it a little bit. You said if we, somehow make it to a third map. So I think you are leaning towards a Shopify 2.0. No?
No bias, no bias, but it's sort of the instinct that I'm getting, to be honest.
Okay, that is completely fair. Why?
I just think Fracture has been a very good map for the Shopify Rebellion side. Of course, Fracture has been a pretty decent map for the Funhaver side as well, but Pearl is like a massive question mark for me. And if Shopify Rebellion do manage to close out Fracture, I think Pearl is heavily in the advantage and in favor of the Shopify Rebellion side. So I think a lot of stress is coming onto that first map. And even if it does go to the third map, I still believe that it's a 50-50 on the third map as well. So I mean, if we have two 50-50 maps, but one map is leaning towards Shopify Rebellion's advantage, then like the logic says it's leaning towards the Shopify Rebellion win.
Right. And I would like to shout out that while 3 of us only said Shopify Rebellion, Zobi chose Shopify and Spirit, but they chose to not do the classic production curse and went for Funhavers, which at the end of the day also is not like a wrong prediction. Absolutely, Funhavers could run with this and take it because it's Valorant. Anything can happen. How many times do we have to say it? But these are our predictions. For me, Shopify, I have seen them for so long, and I just have faith in them. But if Funhavers were to win, would not be surprised. Like you're talking about, Roy, these are some insane heavy hitters on this team that make it just literally anyone's game.
And I think no matter what happens here, GC players are going to be on top no matter what, whether it's Shopify Rebellion qualifying as a team and making history, or Corrupt making their way back as a GC IGL back into tier 2. Either way, it's going to be a sort of progress and sort of this sort of barrier that is getting broken down year by year in Valorant. And I think, again, do not sleep on Funhavers. These players have been competing for a while. They've been on non-stop grinding. If you look at their match histories, they have not stopped playing tournaments. They have been actively competing every single week in Valorant in the tier 3 scene. So like they've been getting the reps under their belts. They're ready for this. It's a matter of which team's going to come off on top, who's going to be feeling comfortable, confident, and what the like levels of stress is going to be at.
I mean, I could not agree more. These are both storied, experienced teams, and we're going to go ahead and go into Agent Select right now so we can see what exactly these teams are cooking up on the first map, which is Fracture. We've seen Fracture has recently come back into the map pool. We kind of have lessened the drought, if you will, of Fracture. We've seen some of it in VCT, some of it in VCL on VLR, but we haven't seen it in Challengers yet. So this is very exciting that it is our first map. So I'm very, very excited to see what the agent selections are. Personally, we could see meta comps, meta as in something expected,
quote
but we could, quote unquote, but with the addition of Vise, with the addition of, maybe some Deadlock, the world is wide, but Roy, they do tend to stick to certain comps.
Yeah, I think I don't want to burst your bubble of creativity and imagination, Liz, but we have records of these teams playing this map. We know their compositions. They're running a version of the EG 2023 comp with the Sova, the Potter special on that map, and the Com special on that map as well. So we're going to be seeing an almost mirror comp. I believe only the Sentinels are different between these two teams. I think Killjoy versus Cypher, again, not a massive difference in the way the map plays out, but I think overall we're going to be seeing it's basically a mirror comp.
I think something you also said, that the EG Fracture is something that is literally iconic. It's something that you picked Fracture, you made a mistake against EG. So it's something that is like, when you say that, it's people who have been watching the VCT for a long time know that that's kind of a dangerous thing to point out, Roy, that this is more like an EG Fracture.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're going to see a lot of those sort of influence in that meta and in that playstyle sort of fit into this. But yeah, I'm ready to go, and I think so the players are as well.
All right, well, if you're ready to go, I am ready to go. We have two amazing folks to take care of the game. It is Nerds and Zobi, your caster today. So friends, please take it away.
Gracias, Liz and Roy. Thank you so much. Welcome. Bienvenidos a Liga Ace. My name is Nerds. I'm here with the ever amazing Zobi. We're the casters for today, and I am getting excited. We have Rebels with a cause versus some Funhavers.
Yes, we are here to witness, and we are honored to do so. And with two teams, the same thing to prove that they deserve a spot in Split 1 of VCL for different reasons. Defending Game Changers champs, trying to break through that ceiling. And Funhavers, the only team that made playoffs during Split 3 of the last 2024 season that didn't get a direct invite into the next split. So only one spot on the line, Nerds. We got to get ready for this action to unfold.
And it's none other than one of my favorite maps returning to the pool for the action, Zobi. It is Fracture. We get to see the agent picks. And interestingly enough, yeah, I mean, it's basically a mirror comp. It's the Sentinel difference.
Yeah, and it's going to be then, Noya versus our Blast, the players we highlighted both of for these squads. And already it's a fast arcade rush from Shopify Rebellion. The quick rotation from Funhavers trying to meet them head on.
Oh, Dodonut to find the first on the entry. They're taking really solid position into Canteen.
Ooh.
I like this, but look who's there on the other end. Zeki falls back, paint shell in hand, wrapping into it. And Shopify with all this space on site should be entering, get that plant down shortly, but Pyro on the angle, looking to get traded. Corrupt is there though. Funhavers taking the advantage within a couple seconds, but Noya finding one to equalize, especially in the pistol here. Look who's wrapping from behind. Mel, just a shotgun in hand. It ends so fast on the pistol.
And wow, just the recognition from Funhavers that fast to realize they were trying to flip into their own spawn, and the funneling of the utility from the paint shell into the incendiary, all to force them back into a site that was already stacked, right? They never dislodged Blast from tower. They never really got control over the site. They didn't even breach any of the Cypher utility, period. So just beautiful splintering here of those Shopify Rebellion players who did try to add things up. And even Noya, who was that lurk from A from the get-go, not able to flip things back in favor of Shopify Rebellion. So here we go, guns in the hand of Funhavers. A little bit more of a default approach, your KJ lurking over towards Arcade, going for the B split. We'll see if this time Tim and Blast can hold on alone.
With those advanced weapons, I feel like they can. And this wrap into sight. They're taking Arcade yet again. There's those weapons. They get info and they fall back, not wanting to relieve themselves just yet.
There. Oh, but look at this, the double push-up. They're clearing so much space over here towards Bridge, and they know now kind of that they aren't making this rotate. They aren't going for this A split. And again, it's felt like hesitation almost out of Shopify, right? Like they stopped, paused Jenny first round. Now they're kind of trying to fool them into this being an A rotate. And now they don't think they've sold it, so they're actually going to have to commit to it with less than a minute left.
The bomb. Honestly, Zoe, I feel like they can take A, right? Pyro just has a sheriff in hand. If they just go a little bit faster, you get that plant down, play post plant.
Left. And Pyro's gonna let them. That or they're gonna fight heavily through a door here. I mean, they only have a deagle in hand, right? So shock dart damage would be huge. They're not giving up a big weapon if they get overwhelmed. And now they have information. There are so many players here for Shopify Rebellion that Funhavers can commit to this rotate with only 15 seconds left.
Plant should go down here. Noya catching Pyro, snoozing. They do have players off on multiple angles here, but Noya with the sheriff in hand could lock things in. Mel to find another. They're hunting for these ecos. Pistols have never been their strong suit, but Funhaver still has players up. Blast to get the advantage. And now from the sideline, Sarah to get another on Corrupt. Picked up by Dodonut. The final player on low HP to get it. Finds the first, but can't lock in the second.
And there's that duelist head-to-head we were looking for. Zeki versus Dodonut. And that was a really good last-minute A exec there, right? They kind of overwhelm that Sova player. They get that space. And then Noya's kind of also left Sands to deal with the players that are trying to funnel out of spawn. Just very, very nicely done. And even if you walk away without the round one, Shopify Rebellion here denting the economy, denting the chances at a third round conversion here for Funhavers. It's gonna be Zeki, I think, eyes towards them about where they can find some of these light shields, regen shield players, because that's how you have a chance of winning this third round.
They're posting up towards A main, anticipating some aggression there off the start of the round. They don't find much. The spike inching its way onto the BE site when we've seen the same player standing through with the better weaponry. Shopify looking to break through that.
Here we go.
There's this advanced position they got that's really paying forward here. Mel hiding away, gets paint shelled out of position. The fight being brought at their doorstep. Shopify Rebellion now needing to reclaim this space.
It's interesting, right? Zeki relinquishing their outlaw, picking up the stinger so they could go for this strong force over towards A main. The drone narrowly misses it, nerds.
And Dodonut is looking in the wrong direction. Zeki catches one, the stun catches all of them. Pyro with a deagle. And we talked about the third round conversion. Noya is the last player standing on this lurk. But Pyro's already looking in the right direction. They have the numbers and the players. Noya needing to make something out of basically nothing. Handful of utility. That's about it. Tim not being the first to peek, just jumping around. I mean, Shopify Rebellion really stretched thin here.
This is not how you wanted to start things out, right? We talked about Noya, 5th highest statistically in closed qualifiers, looking to get the ace clutch to save Shopify Rebellion from a 3rd round. There's Mins, and they get 2 for their efforts, but ultimately it's going to be Funhavers with a thrifty on the board. And Shopify Rebellion, right? It was just a mismatch of timing. They had the idea. They wanted to fight in to the stack of players from Funhavers. They recognized it, and just Funhavers falling back inches deep enough. They're into A main, and it all falls apart, nerds.
I mean, just that, look at that stun. It's so perfect to set up Pyro and the rest of this team. The coordination out of Funhavers is shining so brightly right now. Not even with just the flashes, Zobi.
Now it's Nico, right, for Shopify Rebellion. They do have the showstopper if Dodonut wants to lead the charge on an entry here, but it's another one of these main aggressive plays out of Funhavers, right? They're kind of conceding the space, trusting Blast in their utility, and now Blast might even have to wrap through Tunnel. They've given up the site control, they've given up Tunnel, but this is a worthy trade, they think, if Blast can shut down players like Alexis here.
The timing. Alexis is going to get caught. There, they invested Zeki, a showstopper of their own in hand. They're looking to secure and contain, but Dodonut with the aim continues. Mel to find another. They're not in trouble just yet. If Dodonut can pick this spike up, potentially get something. Mel to find Corrupt as well. They've evened it out.
And it's gonna be another 1v1 here. Blast versus Mel.
And unfortunately, the superior weaponry is going to land, as well as the neural theft. It's up to Dodonut to outfrag and outpace this team. They know exactly where she is right now.
And I love that respect, right? It's because she has the showstopper in hand here. They know she can clutch, and then they're even grouped up if she had just popped it, but the slow swing, Blast with the 4-piece, showing why they were another spotlight player for this team. They are up 4-0 here right now, streamlining the process on their map pick. And Effie's, yeah, this is where you want to get a word in. Because right now, what I've seen from Funhavers side, nerds, is they are purposely giving up space with a definitive plan on how to reclaim it, right? Blast with the pinch, the early aggression from the stack of players through B main, all of it was just chef's kiss. And then they fought back in, right? Off of that showstopper. So 4-0, Shopify Rebellion need something here.
I mean, it's not that Shopify Rebellion hasn't been taking space really well. I've actually really enjoyed their sort of B splits and attacks and when they regroup and push together. It's more along the lines of Funhaver being just a touch stronger in their, I feel like their coordination has to be one of those things, which is interesting because you have this new player in Dodonut coming into the fray and they're fragging and doing well. That's where my mind is headed to, Zobi.
Yeah, and I mean, I think their best round was that, second round attempt where it was that 1v1 between Dodonut and Zeki here. And I think if I were Shopify Rebellion right now, right, we haven't really seen a true to life default. It's always been, right, a stack with your lurk player of your Killjoy here. And I think if they can identify where that heavy side push out is, because it's always happened, right? Whether it was A main, whether it was B main, and then they can avoid it, they can get that late round deserted site like they did when we left the Sova solo on an A site. And I think that's what they're doing, right? I mean, like Noi's playing so far back, you hopefully hear the satchels out, you can see the turret hopefully get destroyed, but Zeki playing around with this idea, and I want to see how Shopify responds now to this information.
They have one posted up in both CT and back defender side. Dodonut to find the opener here. They still have that showstopper in their back pocket, so it could be used for this entry, especially if they're worried about it. Zeki's lining themselves up here. as well. They're going to re-clear this space. Catches a glimpse of one. That's Alexis down. They have to get out of it. Showstopper, not finding too much, but it does give them way out of Arcade. Blast Pack to come through. Dodonut finding one with the Roomba. They're using this to block their vision. They did not clear it. Sarah on the trade leaves just one for Funhaver to pick up the first round for Shopify Rebellion. Blast, though, is not out of it. Recon Dart needs to be broken. They have the player count. They're swinging together. We wrap out a Blast. I mean, I guess they're just looking for something here. An entry. There they go. Finding onto Noya. Sarah and Mel doubling up on it. Find it.
Nicely done there. Last great attempt, the mind games, right, of the Jenny rotation, but 3-hit Canteen. Find at least one, but Shopify Rebellion on the board. And I liked it, right? They started out a lot slower. They waited for those advantages that came from, okay, information. Zeki's B-main. Information. The frag here from Dodonut punishing. And Corrupt here, and this was an insane opportunity if they got the transfer on to Sarah, but it goes south, and so does the round. But they're learning, they're adjusting. That's what we love coming out of a timeout. Even that orbital strike from Mel, right, was because Blast has been playing strongholded, hold up in a tower every round.
I think that's one of the strong suits Rebellion has, is the adaptability. And now with two pivotal ultimates to use on this attacking side, it'd be huge for them to adapt and change. Zeki being countered by the first. That's a Hunter's Fury to land onto them. The key has been broken. The Dodonut has fallen as well as a result of it. They do take the site. But who's in the corner? None other than Corrupt. The soft clear not working for Sarah. Flash in hand as they just re-peek into this. Noya managing to win that duel regardless. Puts Shopify back in equal footing.
Here we go. The 3v3. You have the lockdown online. You have the commitment to the A side. Out of Funhavers since they trust in the cam. The info towards B. And this was the issue, a mismatch in timing, right? The players were out dropped, the players were out main. Well, now they've met, converged on the site, and should be good for a plant unless the Hunter's Fury has something to say about it.
Good counter. Buys them some time. Mel spotting onto Blast, needing to fall back here. Worried about it. Fakes the rope aggression as they regroup. Gonna wrap back into it. There it is. The lockdown invested to find the second. Mel playing off this angle. Rolling Thunder to counter. Pressure away as Tim's gonna fall. This delay is working so well for Shopify to find their second. The lockdown dissipates. Just gonna be eating through it here because they don't have the time. We've had all this delay utility. Alexis is on the angle. They have the stun available. They go for it. And Pyro has been CC'd out of commission. Alexis with the 3K.
And there it is, Shopify Rebellion and those post-plant strengths starting to shine through. Yes, it's accredited to the use of 3 ultimates that round, but the way they use them, right? Opening it up with a Saracom cosplay with a really clean kill, and then just the post-plant. There it is, the moment. Repeated, dropping Zeki in particular, so that retake you mentioned, how they really couldn't punch through, they had to respect the KJ lockdown. Well, that's why. And they were also wary, likely, of those ultimates, right? Because they knew that Alexis had this. And I loved Alexis's spread, too, right? The Rolling Thunder into the fault line, into the aftershock, and that's how you get second round on the board, starting to close this gap, and they're going to keep this pacing slow, methodical, and that's what they need.
Especially on an eco Zobi, right? If they just go fast, relinquish those weapons, it could be so difficult. Swaps into their favor. I believe Tim is hero rifling here. So we're going to have to see some heroics come out from there. I saw a couple of sheriffs in hand. A Bucky for Blast. It could be dangerous.
I like it. You know Noya's a lurk player. You know they've disengaged from the B site presence. If they get the kill here, they're not going to have this A control.
It's so close. It's so close here. Catches them off guard. Noya has to grab it and fall back immediately. Exactly how you predicted, Zobi. They fall back into the A site here for Funhavers.
Funhavers. They have Corrupt's Rolling Thunder online, but when you've already lost 2 players, I don't think you contemplate committing it, especially when that was your hero rifle you mentioned, Nerds, down and out of the fray. They're doing what they can to try and counter this utility, right?
Oh.
Noya, low HP. This could be a gun.
Noya's been captured. A Bucky picked up, but not a weapon. I feel like they're going to swap that through here. And Shopify, even though they have the player advantage, starting to slip away here. Corrupt to fall here. They manage the shots. Shopify not giving up anything here. Zeki falling back, playing with Pyro. They know they need to clear Mel out here. Pyro to be the first to peek. Mel on the other side of this angle finds the first. The second, it's just easy. One away from equalizing the round score.
And that timing, chef's kiss. And then also that was a beautiful display about how this has been a team effort, right? Noya winning out their ever important lurk duel to establish they had control over both drop and a main. You know, we had a beautiful jiggle from Sarah in order to take that Rolling Thunder out of contention. And then the closeout from Mel, right? Playing their life, playing for the post-plant utility, playing for that late main control through door. And Funhavers, they're shaking a little bit here. Timeout called because they're coming into a pivotal buy round, right? They're coming into a round where they also have ults to invest, similar to when FEs took their timeout. And if you lose this round, right, you're gonna lose the lead here. And that's something that was really good, was getting the ball rolling, especially on your opponent's map pick.
And it's not that, you know, Funhavers, right, they are playing so well. They're playing so coordinated. But Shopify, they've really been good about adapting to those changes. Honestly, my question right now is, out of this timeout, we see two really crucial ultimates for retake. Are they gonna be playing a little bit further back?
I think it's gonna be a play getting similar in my mind personally. I think it's more just they're gonna be like willing to give up the less stacked site here, right? Like we think back to like the round where Pyro was on an island A, right? Well, Pyro, instead of playing for a singular pick over towards sand, will be willing to go into spawn, will be willing to tuck away drop. And I think that's how, in my mind, they're going to identify this play. And you can see that already getting set up, right? The trademarked, you know, breach, raise A main control, just to get that information, to get that sense of stability. And they have the trust of the Cypher over towards B.
I just been loving seeing Blast on shotguns, personally. It's been really fun. But they are not going to be persuaded by this. Alt Orb picked up. Start building that charge. Alexis to be the one to peek and Blast to find them. Spike going down early and an ultimate picked up for Blast. It's gonna give them all the info in this world. Pyro and Zeki know they're swinging into just one. Mel needing to fall back off the angle, but it's a little late. And because of that, Shopify has been picked apart on the sidelines.
Yeah, Mel needed to get out of there once revealed. They knew they had the A main control, likely off the stun from the get-go. Now you're down smokes as well. So execing into B when you haven't dealt with the Cypher utility, it's dangerous. Well, and that's why the trade
Danger indeed.
delivers.
But they got the trades. And that's what's going to kick them. Is Funhavers has the numbers right now. An ultimate in hand. They have just two players. Dodonut hunting. Taps on the plant to bait these players out. Corrupt with utility, awaiting for Noya to sneak up behind them. But Zeki's got the ticket locked, and now it's up to Dodonut to try to clutch this out. The potential's there until Blast rears their head.
And that round, huge, because not only do they win it, but they don't invest either of those big ticket ultimates. I think Blast in that neural theft was just a treasure trove of information. And after they've been setting up these kind of outposts as well that go and challenge, then yeah, you can use that to convert into singular kills that add up like they did on to Mel. And also just as well, kind of the play there from Blast, finding Alexis as well. And we talk about how oppressive the breach utility is. Setting up your duelist on a B take. I liked that they got the site control, but they knew it was a 4v2. They knew that just getting the plant down wasn't going to be enough. Speaking of enough, 3 players versus 1?
Honestly, I feel like that should be enough. Oh my god. Fault line not even needed. And that's gonna give Funhavers an inclination. All right, Dodo, they're there. Dashing through, Blast is off to the side though, finds onto Dodo and avoids this utility. The ultimates are there, but Mel can still find one more. Blast whiffing near the very end, still managing to find Mel is huge. Funhavers down to their last 2 players for the retake. Corrupt in that IGL position can at least give them calls. How do they live through this rolling thunder? Zeki up top might be, but is not the key for this round. Shopify, bring it back.
Yeah, just Shopify, great position to shut down any attempt there, utilizing utility, utilizing ultimates. And the fact that, much unlike the last round, right, where Funhavers got it investing neither ults, they invest both and walk away with a round lost. And, whew, I mean, that was beautiful baiting it out as well from Shopify, right? Pyro not expecting it, right? It's been a solo lurk of Noya, like, every single time, right? So you were expecting one at most. Blast, we talked about their site dominion. Well, they shut down Donut, which is great. But again, this is where it fell apart. The disjointment there between the remaining two players. And, okay, again, 1 round separating us two here, nerds.
1 round between the two. I want the 6-6 half. Just guilty pleasure of mine. Bring us this heat. The president has already inserted themselves, Noya, out here. Looking towards the B site while the rest fall through Canteen. Blast on a judge? Up close and personal. They have had this as their signature.
Oh no, Noya!
The timing was huge, as well as the decay on the feet. And it seems like Funhavers, through a weak bye, can still pick apart Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah, they've just made it a meat grinder on this B site without even utilizing the trap wires, right? The Incendiary, Chef's Kiss, the challenge for Noya, disrespected. And even just the timing from Tim tucking Jenny here. It's Alexis on an island, the triple swing. They almost piece apart 2/3 of it. But unfortunately, the trade delivers. You mentioned it, that pseudo-thrifty follows suit where Funhavers is going to lock in their 6th after a 4-0 start. Where Shopify Rebellion put up a fight of a comeback. Can they close it out, nerds, to get us to that even footing?
I feel like they can. My Preds were already locked in. I have full faith in the GC 2-time champs.
GC 2-0.
Exactly. I feel like Roy and Liz are with me here, but honestly, I mean, the 6-6 is exactly what I want to see. So I'm always going to be rooting for close games. Regardless, you got to give props to Funhavers. They're doing such an excellent job.
Oh, for sure.
Oh.
Making the most of what they have and making the most of players like Blast! Sarah! Sacrificing their lives though. Donut stays alive, but their wings have been clipped. They're 1 HP. And so now you can't pierce through this B site. You gotta go elsewhere. And if you're going to A, there's already this strong front held up, this gate for entry. How do you fight through it? Alexis, utility?
I don't think you can. They're gonna spam them down.
Oh no.
It is a counter of their own. Ultimate invested for an ultimate. That orbital strike just denies this rocket from landing. Oh, and Corrupt alongside Noya here finds the first but not the second. A trade to be found here, and Funhavers is so good about grouping up in those critical timings. Donut on the hero play with the rocket, hunting for them, but Pyro spots them. Low HP at 16. It's do or die, and unfortunately the do has not been found. Zeki unlocking doors once found, and they're hunting for their 7th to have a leg up. Mel's on the other end of this, finds Tim regardless. Paint shells do not stop Alexis from the plant, but this ultimate could be their demise. Info gained. Mel holding their position up top ropes. The last 2 players for Shopify Rebellion hunting here. Zeki getting caught off guard because of the fault line. Low HP for both these 2 players. For Blast and Alexis. Blast to fall. The crossfire held. They're slowly pushing in. Blast is waiting, gets Alexis. They were low. Mel finds another, distracted by the dart. Spam through, found for Pyro. That's the 7th for Funhavers.
Wow. What a round from both squads, right? We talked about how Shopify Rebellion, when time is up against them, they're able to push their way onto this A site and set up really clean post plants, really clean crossfires, and it came out of Mel and the heroics, right? It's a 2v4. It's almost like what Donut wanted to do when it was a 2v4 on the B site, was find that impact when the spike is going down. Find that inch to take a mile. And they did almost, right? And even Mel holding their cool when their position is exposed by the neural theft is everything, right? They couldn't drop down. They would get wallbanged, right? They had to hold the angle, and they do. And wow, just Pyro playing down the timer, playing down the round, and securing a lead for Funhavers here. Shopify Rebellion, how do you get your 5th?
I like the dart, gives them advanced info. You know, we've been seeing Blast playing on different sides. Donut taking down their equal. We see a response immediately from Funhaver to deny them any space shot. I mean, Mel, on the other angle, the double up though is gonna get spotted, and there it is. The numbers equalized.
I like it. Oh yeah, still trying to run amok, cause chaos here. I think the frag over towards Arcade's a red herring because they're set up for this A split, and they have their own Hunter's Fury to work with. Sarah ensuring they cannot counter this execution. The kill on the cross for the second time. Oh, here we go.
They tagged up Tim. Pyro at 46 as well. It's a low HP for at least 2 of these players. Shopify Rebellion's gonna go for the plant and hold on to the site. Oh, okay. Misinput, it seems. Pyro on the other end of it low. This dart could be deadly. They need to respect it here. Sarah has a second, though, in their pocket. Pyro runs away. Gives them a timing here, hopefully. No! Pyro's there. And the spray lands for Pyro and Tim. They might be low, but they still have the weapons here. Double for Noya. They've been carrying Shopify Rebellion. They've been doing so much for this team. 5 bullets, Blast, and a Dream. It's the Sentinel head-to-head here. Blast just slowly pushing out, and Sarah finds him. Noya to grab it. 3K found.
Shopify Rebellion end things 7-5, and of course it's Noya, our president, to deliver it for this squad. Just again, last round, pop the lockdown. You're not going to be able to use it moving forward. And I mean, yes, there were a few mistakes there, right? Sarah, Dodanut caught out on an island. Dodanut trying, I think, to get the trade off of Sarah there. But from the get-go, I think Dodanut did set Sarah up nice, right? Destroying the drone, keeping her in the dark. They just trusted Noya after they played the clock down. And speaking of Noya, they're the one that opened that round up and shut the door. So, again, proving their impact, proving their growth here. And now, if you want a pistol, you can flip this back on your side.
I mean, we've seen the track record, so we'll see how it goes. Shopify on the defensive side, I like their setup. They're doing the same thing. They have the Breach, Sova, Raze combo for A main control. Gives them a lot of pressure. They have nothing for their backside. The drop is kind of left open here.
Ooh, yeah, this is different, right? When it was a strong side lean towards A, you still had a secondary player towards B. They have so much trust in Noya that they can stack this site, and somehow they've left the gap still, right? Look who's punctured through. It's Funhavers, and now they're going to counter the A main control, and yeah, Shopify Rebellion have to respect it. They have to clear out main and wait to receive it.
It's like they're playing on attack all over again. And even though Shopify has the numbers, it still feels corrupt to find the first stun to break them through. Trades as a pinstripe kill feed, but look who's starting to win out. The double near the end for Shopify leaves just 1 player on the site. Pyro taking the fight onto Noya. We see the double up from these 2 players. They have spike control, so they don't necessarily need to fight in any fashion.
But Pyro has dart. Likely gonna use it just to see if they've gotten the wrap around here. And there's 30 seconds left, so if they recover the spike here, they can go B. But the timing, it's gonna be everything. The sand scale up, they don't know!
Oh, they don't. And there it is, the 6th found for Shopify as they inch their way back in.
Well, we've seen the anti-ecos from Funhavers here. Shopify know they have to be careful. We'll see how they throw caution to the wind. They're flipping the map almost immediately now. Look, instead of the solo Killjoy B, they're placing Noya on this A site. You know, they don't want them to get out A main. They're just choke point, swarm grenades all. I mean, look back at that round, and again, I like that they didn't maintain the A main position. I like that they pushed into spawn. They got the regroup. They got the information they needed before fighting back. And here we go. We're in the action.
Dodo Nut is already starting to take heads alongside Sarah. And it's to be expected here. They have the weapons. Eco completely destroyed for Funhaver.
A nice trap play. Hits it, Mark captures its prey in the form of both of your initiators. So you're not going to know where this stack has leaned, and it's pretty heavily around Arcade here, expecting a tunnel rotate, expecting a fake. And even if not, right, then you're headed towards A. Noya's going to tell you.
Exactly.
Noya's going to pop off. I think they even handed the Guardian off to her so that she can weather a storm like this.
I think they have full faith in Noya. And after some of those rounds, it makes sense. It's a judge? And listen, if you can't beat him, join him. Blast was playing with those shotguns, so might as well have a fun time.
I mean, they're
Are we going to
vulnerable,
be seeing orb farm here? My favorite part of Fracture. Just farm up orbs and get your ultimates online faster.
I mean, when it's this close of a game, it's going to come down to those pivotal ults, those pivotal rounds. Speaking of pivots, here we go.
Oh, the judge, though, up close and personal. You get to meet them firsthand. Noya's got the tickets locked here. The 3K for them. It's just that easy. It's just that simple.
It's just that flawless. And with that, it becomes the 7-7 for this duel, this map 1 of Funhavers pick. And it being flawless here means they have a great opportunity to claim the lead here and now as well, right? The arsenal of Guardians, Dodonut here. What a beautiful setup. What a beautiful shock dart, right? Corrupt your player that has to help you force your way back in, trying to do so, and it gets punished. And you mentioned it. They had enough of the blast shotgun. Noya wanted their revenge, and they got it.
It's our time to shine, they say. I love it. And looking at the position now, Funhavers is working their way towards the B site. Tapping, getting Noya out. But unfortunately, Noya's not going to find much with this ghost. Not even some chip damage.
Rip the ping system nerf. You will be missed.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, it's made these games a lot more fun sometimes.
That is true. No more spam meta. Look at this. They're leaving Zeki here towards B main. One nade and all that Killjoy utility's gone. I hope they sell this fake over towards A, right? Like, your drone's already gotten destroyed. You wanted to make it seem like you're going for an A split, but the issue is there's no presence drop. There's no nothing, so not convinced. And even then, they have the trust in Noya. They are going to anchor this site until they die.
Hey, we saw what Noya managed to do previously. There it is. The exec's gonna start, gives them information. We already see the rotated split on a flank. The damage dealt. And Noya's up towards tower. No, they think the site is empty here. Blast on the other angle. Clear on through. Pyro to fall. Noya with the judge in hand has been so devastating. Dodonut on this flank alongside Alexis. They wrap together here. They're trying to capture their prey. It's going to be the shock dart. Corrupt with a double, though. Tim is there. Means trouble with the stun. Dodonut fragging right now alongside Noya. The numbers for Shopify on this retake to pick up the bonus. Blast!
Ooh.
Not out of the equation yet, but it's all back to Noya.
Okay. I mean, from the get-go, right? Zeki not spawning a player, just pure utility, getting them done and dusted to 26 HP. Even their aggression into spawn gets countered. And that utility as well, just to fixate on the objective, right? I looked to Mel, I looked to the Incendiary over towards Arcade. It allowed them to streamline that retake process, focus on taking the site players out, so that the players that were main couldn't focus on that. They could focus on the players that were stuck there. And Corrupt, you know, put up a great effort there in the middle of site, but Noya, again, the pillar, they ping pong off of her, and they get the round, they get the lead.
I thought they saw Noya, but it seems like the utility kind of blinded them towards tower. Because could have sworn Blast like creeped up on them on their screen. Seems like Noya might have saw them before they saw Noya.
Ooh. Oh, we didn't see Noya that round. Zeki, duelist, done, dusted. Should be the call.
I mean, they're on an eco currently, so...
Oh, you just gotta commit them.
Yeah, I mean, just go in. Full rush. Shopify's gonna play full retake here. I love the respect, yeah.
Yeah, you got 2 ults if you need them. I mean, you recognize it's an eco. Don't want to give that gun solo away. How much do they invest? That's the question, nerds.
This Dodo Alexis flank has been so nasty in some cases, and Tim's aware of that. Shoulder peek comes through, and that's going to give them away, not waiting for the swing, but Alexis able to capitalize. Tim with a double, not taken care of. Triple trouble here as well. Mel needed to take advantage of it, and it seems like it's not working for them. Mel, the IGL and the leader here, the stick on the bomb. Noya is there. That almost slipped away from them.
What a 4-piece. I don't think it ever was about to slip away other than the Tim Deagle moments. And I think it was, again, because that was a double-pronged A main clear, right? You talked about the duo. You talked about Alexis and Dodonut. And when they get challenged off of the awareness from Tim, that's when Mel sneaks in, right? You cannot clear. You cannot hold both of those angles. And Mel clearing out both is just perfection from your fragging IGL in this scenario. They don't have to use the ults. They're going to keep weapons here. And now, Noya, up credit to an operator and getting the opportunity to peek, nerds.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Missed, but not taken down. Okay. We recover. Regroup. We listen and we don't judge right now. As Blast is on the other end of it. Dodo Nut peeks on through, gets taken down. We see the trade for Alexis to come forth just as fast. And Funhavers, they have ultimates, they have weapons into this. So with this B site open up now, it's looking a little spicy.
Spike planted.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we're seeing a retake from Shopify Rebellion where they didn't have a player deposited on site. Ooh. And with the brevity of the smoke gap, Noya snipes a player, springs the lockdown, but they have Orbital Strike. They have to use it, in my mind, to cancel this out.
They're gonna use their ultimate. It's a Rolling Thunder instead, along with the Orbital Strike on the bomb. Slows them down yet again, but they can still defuse here. The lineup misses.
Half.
No, it doesn't. They got the half.
No
Wait, there's
way.
enough HP here. Shopify's gonna get this retake. And they didn't even need to shed that much blood here. Noya still does it anyway. Just a cherry on top this Sunday.
And it's Tim saying, trust me, guys, I got lineups, and it's centimeters off, right? Your tootsies are a little warm, but you can get the defuse. And what stands out to me, and why I think this timeout is called, because it was a mismatch of timing, right? You want to use that Orbital Strike, right? Once that Rolling Thunder has stunned those players, when they can't flee. And it was so early that they had gotten out of the way. It didn't find that impact they were looking for. And again, it was maybe the nerves that Shopify Rebellion had scaled up so fast, had already gotten a player on the spike. And that's the kind of unsettling that Shopify Rebellion needs to bring. And I mean, again, small mistakes added up, right? Noya being able to find that operator kill, bro. I think our production also just loves the judge.
Yeah, I mean, the judges have been on point for them.
Here goes.
We listen and we don't judge.
Or we listen and we judge if it was Noya to blast. And I mean, just the Sentinel diff keeps on delivering. It's a Noya frag montage. Close it off with a little bit of Mel action as well. What acted as the turning point now for Shopify Rebellion? What is it, a 2-round gap now?
Yeah. I mean, in this moment, right, we see moments of brilliance out of Shopify Rebellion and how adaptive they are. If Funhavers are structured and Shopify is adaptive, I wonder to see how, from this adaptation, from this timeout that Funhavers is taking, what Shopify can at least counter them with.
I mean, I think both teams converted out of their timeouts. So that's a great thing to highlight, is that the coaches are having a high level of efficacy here in their adjustments. But this is the counter adjustment from Shopify Rebellion, right? They haven't gone for a drop, a dish take like this, of this scale, and they do. They maybe expected it to be a heavy stack like they did against a singular player Pyro, and it just does not connect because they're just going for the slow B approach. They liked how easy it was to take the B site when Noya was posed up on the operator, right? It was that post plant that I think Finite wanted to address, and let's see if they made those changes for the better.
The smoke's going out along the paint shell. It's going to be the entry. Zeki using the showstopper. Pyro with the plant. Noya hasn't been spotted. Sends it out. Noya avoided. They're just hiding in a corner, waiting for the cavalry. You know what they're waiting for? They're waiting for the Secret Service. The president needs their backup. And it's going to be it should be a retake here. Mel with the orbital strike. They ult in the center of sight to drive them out potentially into these angles. Mel gonna find the first on Zeki. Dodo popping a showstopper of their own instead. It doesn't land, but the shots do. And that's what matters near the end. Blast gives them info over the site on the defuse. And look, exactly. The timing is there. It's info on more of these players. Low HP on Mel. They still fight up against Blast. The numbers are, but the time is not.
Tim corrects the incendiary, and this time they have to respect it. They save the weapons. I'm curious if they recovered the operator or not, but the win bonus, they might be able to just force it up again. No, they're gonna lose it. Well, Mel, do you buy it for your president? We'll have to find out. But what stood out to me, and we talked about changes, right? That's what we wanted to see after the timeout, and they did. The push up into spawn, right? You talked about the orbital strike clearing outside. I don't think they realized the sheer presence past generated, the sheer presence deep into canteen here. And first off, Dodo, I'm so sorry, right? We need to not nerf the showstopper because that was atrocious. But the trade, clean. And it was just Zeki leading that charge off the scare tactic, the showstopper as well. That's why they won that round, was the delay. Even when they got arcade control, they didn't care about arcade control. They know Mel likes to fragment that. Wow. And that effect showed as Blast was also cut off. But here we go. Next round, double digits for Shopify Rebellion. Guns for both hands. This is make or break, nerds.
There's a small micro point. They threw a dart into dish. It got broken. So they have either a read that, hey, these guys are stacking dish again. We can leave Blast in A main. Oh, that's so beautiful.
The call to rotate off B, though. They had the stack right.
They
They
did.
second guessed it. They've strong sided the site where Noya is, where her Sentinel utility is. And we talked about Blast. Well,
Oh,
they're still trying to single-handedly sell this AFIG, and it's working. Mel, the brains of the operation, recognize it. They hear the sky smokes pop, and now they've rallied the troops. Get back to B ASAP.
ooh, and Pyro's gonna be the first casualty. It's traded out as they gear themselves for this retake. And Shopify's retakes have been good, but we saw the adaptations, the changes out of Funhavers Zeki to find the first on Sarah. Look who's coming from the back. It's Blast to take down Alexis as they even up the gap. It's 9-10, and Funhavers are 1 away from an even scoreline.
In that round, just the overcall to rotate. FBs isn't happy with it, right? Blast did so much work just at the big picture level of drawing those players over, keeping them there. Because yeah, when it's been, I mean, for both of these teams, a Sentinel spotted, they've always been on the opposite side of where the masses were going, right? If you had your Noya, your Blast drop, it was going to be heavy A main. They were always splitting. And in this case, they used it as a fake. They used it as additional pick'ems. And they went for the B exec. That's where they found strength. And I think FEs is going to talk about, okay, we need to anchor the B site, Funhavers, proclivity, and all. And we have a really good A retake too. I mean, look at Mel here. We can give up A space. We don't have to anchor that site necessarily.
Exactly. I mean, your predictions have been spot on, Zobi. So they're if they do go for the A stack, they hold up onto it. Sorry, the B stack, and then they go for a retake towards A. Need to correct myself there. Is that the adaptation? Is that the flow?
I gotta see what the ults look like here.
That'll
Because
be the key?
that's what's gonna spoil or set up the success of a retake in these situations. Because again, we're entering these pivotal rounds. You know now that Funhavers has that Hunter's Fury for a post-plant scenario. Everything else kind of far off here for both sides, right? Alexis maybe pop off, get some orb farming, and that's your Rolling Thunder for a retake. But that requires early aggression. And I think that's what they're going to go for here over towards A main. They're going back to trusting Noya on B side. I think that is the adjustment, to be honest. Without an op.
No op this time, but I have some ops on the enemy side here. Funhaver, they need this even scoreline for themselves. They're fighting for this just as hard as Shopify Rebellion is. And look at them. They've already got themselves grouped up towards Arcade.
Ooh. Noya. No information utility there. It's just going to be off her noise cues, off of her contact. It's the Swarm getting to challenge tower control so she can keep her position so they can set up for this B retake. And this time, look at the adjustment from Mel. The Mauling spawn because they know Zeki likes to claim that space. But at this point, you know Noya's here. You're going to multi-clear it.
They don't have a, they have a judge. No, I was saying they don't have an op. But unfortunately, they cannot listen here. They just get judged.
Look at this. As soon as the plant goes down, right, they're extending. They're trying to clear out what has been these beautiful pinch retakes from Shopify Rebellion. Blast is spotted. Do they know it's the double stack? No, the double swing follows suit. And they've found that frag. Now they have to clear out Alexis as well.
Oh,
they don't know, do they?
I think they don't. But Alexis has been doubling up here. And now they've doubled up onto another Sarah to find one more. Mel on the other end of this. But the timing, they have to speed things up just a bit. Tap onto bomb gets denied here. They have the numbers, but the Hunter's Fury that you mentioned is going to be the key to their success.
Yeah, the chip damage there onto Mel.
Oh.
Alexis wasn't close enough to be that sacrifice for getting the bomb to half, and here we go, 10-10. We knew it was going to be a battle till the bitter end, and even on map 1, it is starting to deliver. Just, again, out of each timeout, the adjustments have been met. And I think that's what actually Funhaver used Shopify's timeout to talk about, is, okay, how do we disrupt these double-pronged retakes coming out from Shopify Rebellion? And they did a great job of that, fighting back through tunnel. And even if they couldn't get the job completely done, right, onto Alexis because of Sarah, it disrupted things enough to buy down the timer for that Hunter's Fury to get the job done.
You talk about those ultimates. You had to see them, and we got to see them come out in full force. I like this push. They are trying to get more space. Give themselves early info, potentially Dodonut picking up the first blood here. The stun to come through, but Zeki avoids it. They want to go for the refrag, but Sarah falling back, thinking better of it.
Yeah, cut your losses. See if you can rebound. You also have to worry about drop, right? Nobody was holding that, and I mentioned prior, right? The standard is your Senti Lurk on one entrance, your stack on the other. So they gotta cut off one head of this snake. And instead, they're just playing for the B rotate. They're playing for the retake here, perhaps. Instead, respecting the take. Maybe Sarah just playing here for confirmation that it is gonna follow through. But then how do you play retake down a player and down your duelist, nerds?
You're gonna have to rely on those initiators, Zobi. Oh, the timing's there. One of the initiators falls. That's so unfortunate. They're not gonna have info on the site. The plant to go down. All 5 players on it. Blast already taking space, drop, clearing it out. And again, this retake. They don't have information. They don't have an entry. Sure, Noya can frag out, but
The smoke to get the gun. Are they saving? They're saving.
I think they're on an eco, yeah.
I like the
I was
call.
gonna mention it was a broken buy going into this. They had Dodonut on the hero rifle, and I feel like that's why they wanted to get that like initial first fight with Alexis's stun in CT.
I think Sarah might have also had the hero rifle, right? Like she was the one that wanted to refrag. She wanted to swing off a Dodonut's contact.
But they're not playing for that right now, right?
No, they're playing for the save, and okay. I think the Funhavers is aware of this. That's why they're trying to hunt them down, right? They're trying, and unfortunately, failing to do so. Alexis, 2 kills. Every player lives to keep their weapons in hand. And this is where, I mean, this is where you have to be careful, because both teams are out of timeouts at this point, nerds. And so you just got to trust in Mel to get you to that finish line of a 13-11 at this point, or to overtime, where then Effie is, it can be a little guiding voice. A voice in the back of the head, but here we go. You got to get there first. You have to adapt on your own. And even now the buy isn't great, right? Regen shield, light shield, a guardian or 2. What do they change?
I think they're gonna have to change the retakes, right? Because the retake protocols, they get so much space for the side of Funhavers. Funhavers just can take the site so well. It's trying to adapt that into how they play. You see the stack towards A yet again, something that has been consistent out of Shopify is that rotate. Noya being left alone, but they're not playing towards tower. They're actually playing towards Canteen.
Yeah, I liked it, right? They were playing for the easy pick over towards Arcade. Now they disengage and play off their utility for information. Blast, they've done this before, right? They give that red herring of an A exec and then they leave. And this time they've been punished for it. I like that adaptation from Sarah. But here you mentioned it, nerds. They like to fight forward, and Noya to be the receiving end of it.
But Noya does not find the frag, needs to fall back. Shopify not allowing Funhavers to respect it, but Blast is going to do the same thing. Well, they have an inkling of a thorn in their side. A weed out of place on this field as they peek through. They wrapped up, but the double's there. The whiff for Blast. It's going to find the first. But the timing, yet again, it's going to be so crucial here.
I mean,
they only have 45 seconds.
Even if they didn't get the kill, they got the chip damage. So this Rolling Thunder is going to be softened a lot, especially by that pain shell.
Oh, but from the side, Zeki's going to find the first. Mel looking for the refrag, but Zeki gets out of dodge. Timing a little rough. Mel fights for it. Gets the frag. Noya on the tap, waiting to see the counter that Funhavers has. The first, the second on the combo. The timing's thin, and they're going to stick it here. 11-11. Shopify Rebellion have adapted.
Wow, did that come down to the wire? Less than half a second to go. Noya huge, playing off of that tower smoke from Mel. You talked about the refrag ability as well. Mel finding Zeki, key in that situation. And again, it's showing how well these teams are adapting to each other. And again, it came down to 2 whiffs, right? Blast not finding those 2 players. And then Zeki finding Dodonut in spawn. And the dynamic between the two. And Mel as well, just right, went from mollying Arcade in the retake, understanding the players were playing there, to then mollying Spawn because they know they like to take that space and wrap through Canteen while they're trying to get these retakes through. But 11-11, make a wish if you're a Shopify fan, because they are 1 round away from guaranteeing overtime here on this map.
Pick up an orb for Sarah to get that Hunter's Fury online for Shopify Rebellion, prevent the plant potentially from going down across the map. Noya has info on them. They're just 5 stacking it out into A main, leaving Blast to take space on B and re-wrap here. Hunter's Fury invested. It's what they fought for, B main space. Oh, and the investments pay off here. The Sarah stocks are working. Oh,
At this point, do you disengage? Do you go B? Right, Blast has all of this site under control, but they don't realize the stack of Donut and Alexis is here. So yes, drone out, flash out. Now you fight it with that utility, because at this point, there's less than a minute left. You have to make a decision.
But Mel's got the double here. Zeki brings the trouble back to their doorstep. Showstopper bounced away. Donut with the classics able to find it. Funhavers just down to the wire. And Shopify, like you mentioned, are 1 away from securing overtime. It's down to Blast. At 85 HP, they do have a crucial ultimate if they want to facilitate it. But look who's on the angle. It's Donut. They have the audio cue, and they have Blast's ticket. Alexis to find it, and match point found.
Wow. There. And I mean, Funhavers, they hesitate for a millisecond, and Shopify springs forward, right? The additional players out of stands to get the pinch when they realize that Alexis and Donut were about to be under threat in the attacker spawn. Ooh. And that was that moment where Mel got that 2-piece here. And look at that, Donut with the hops.
It's beautiful. They're playing Mario out here.
Like if Funhavers fight with that stun from Corrupt into drop, they get to go B, they get to play a post plan. But the hesitancy there when the drone gets destroyed and it's shattered, even with Zeki's heroics. Like, it might just be a GG here. Look at the economy. Funhavers, they're gonna have to invest all these ults and they're already down Blast.
Oh, yes. There's no more Cypher ultimate on the board. Zeki, though, with the hero rifle. They plan and intend to try and end on the A side. I believe Breach also has the hero rifle. So altogether, they have some of a broken buy here.
I don't like them all getting off site here.
Oh man!
They're
playing off their ultimates.
But Donut's gonna push into B main, or sorry, into A main here. No.
Oh, they should. Noya on the other end of this, gonna find Zeki. There's a trade, but it's gonna make them rumble. There it is, the rolling thunder. Aftershock invested as well. Donut hunting these two players. Tim in the corner doesn't get spotted, but Corrupt does. The trade found for Tim. Alexis, Sarah lining up. Shopify Rebellion win the first map here.
13-11. They steal away their opponent's map pick. Funhavers Fracture falls to the opposition, and it really did come down to that pivotal A crunch 2 rounds ago. And oh my goodness, we got a battle on our hands, folks, because again, left and right, back and forth, they had beautiful reads on each other, beautiful adjustments. And again, a few 1v1s going each respective way, and here we are.
In my heart, in that moment, I'm so happy to see the level of competition. Down to the wire, 11-13, such a close game. And as, you know, I feel like Roy's gonna put it best, but it's the year of the women, right? GC is rocking it right now. And they've already picked up the first. In my preds, in my mind, for Shopify to win, they had to pick up Fracture, and going on to... I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting so far ahead of myself. That's going to be left up to Roy and Liz. We're going to be right back. We'll catch you in the next game.
Spike down, B. Trick shot.
wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.
We got to the point where we can control the laws of nature as electronics.
Spike down B. One enemy remaining.
Well, folks, I promised you an amazing game, and would I ever lie to you? I don't think I would, because Shopify Rebellion didn't take Funhavers map pick, excuse me, of Fracture. I'm
Nice.
so excited. Map pick of Fracture. 13-11. I'm your host, Elizabeth, joined by the strongest legs in the business, Roy. Roy, literal chills during that map.
Okay, when we said it was going to be close, I was not expecting 0.5 second diffuses multiple times a half kind of close. Okay, that was a little too nail biting from my taste personally. But wow, did we see a lot of good VALORANT in that series, Liz, from both sides, right? The Funhaver sides, of course, doing a really good job playing the post plans, utilizing their ults, like making it incredibly difficult for Shopify, as well as the early start that they had. And then you can see there's sort of like the timeouts coming out. Effie's finally doing his job for once, and then. We get to, they get to start kind of roll things together. They start to heat up. Their confidence starts flowing, and it just seemed like there was this like back and forth happening between both of these teams, like stealing energy from each other, and it just all the way until the very end.
Yes, I mean, a huge shout out to both IGL's Corrupt and Mel for literally calling out of their minds on this map. It was tooth and nail, coming down to little itty bitty things like maybe jumping over a Raze ult once in a while, or
Oh my god!
a pixel perfect missed Raze ult. I think if anything we learned during that game is that the Raze ult needs to be buffed, because some of these missed Raze ults were absolutely ludicrous. But I saw you guys in chat, you were enjoying it, having a good time. But overall, this was, you said, those adjustments with those timeouts and those post plans, that's what really came down to, Roy.
Absolutely. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the top of the head, to be honest. Like, the IGLs were really having a field day with it. You could tell there's so many layers of the macro, right? Like, there's so many small little adjustments happening with what map control they were taking, the timing on which they did it as well. Like, it really just was a battle of IGL's wits and, of course, the flashy plays that kind of spice it all up together.
I think the flashiest one is Donut jumping over a Raze ult. I think it was a classic. It just, I mean, I expect nothing else. Again, these teams are fighting for a spot in Challengers, and these teams have fought for so long to get there. And obviously, you got to bring out the big guns and flashiest plays that you possibly can. Because, I mean, what else? It's Challengers. And of course, our MVP is none other than Madam President. I saw those 07s before. I want to see them go again. Miss Noya of Shopify Rebellion. Now, I mean, bringing out the op on KJ, the Outlaw, just hitting these insane clutches and shots, right? I mean, we highlighted her before. And just the prophecy comes true. She's absolutely incredible, Roy.
She used every cringe weapon possible. I mean, they were saying we listen, but we don't judge. But Noya said, no, I'm watching and I'm judging and I'm opping you. And I'm literally going to use every single cringe weapon I possibly can to squeeze out that win. And she did phenomenally at doing that as well.
Noya, I think, proves time and time again that, like we said before in the beginning, that while duelists may have those high kill entries, those high frags that you expect, never count anyone out. You can never count a KJ out or a Cypher maybe. It really just kind of comes down to this gunplay. And also her game sense, what she was holding, how she was maneuvering so well. Her undished that one point where she was darted out with an Outlaw, but re-peaked it anyway. It's just that pure cerebralness from her is something that you can't teach, Roy. You're born with it or you're not.
Yeah, you're going with the genetics card? I'm down. I'm down. That's our president right there. I'll salute any day.
That's 07. But if I don't see any 07 in the chat, I'll be very mad.
Yeah, I do. There is some sort of kind of like an awkward elephant in the room sitting next to us, Liz. this was the map pick for Funhavers. Now we're going into a map that they have not really been that comfortable on. They've not really had much like consistent success on the map. Whereas Shopify Rebellion has had a pretty good Pearl so far, at least from what they've shown. So I think, to me, from where we're sitting, it seems like Shopify Rebellion is in a really good position to just sort of close the series out in a 2-0.
If you're Funhavers, does that make you nervous, Roy, knowing you're going into the Shopify Rebellion Pearl? You know, I mean, who knows what they might have cooked up for this moment, but
yeah,
it might be a little scary going into their map pick after you lost yours to like by marginal errors.
Yeah, I think, yes. I think nerves are definitely very high for both teams. You can sort of tell in the way that the pacing of the games that they're playing. But nerves aren't always a bad thing. It's like, it's really just about how the person interprets it, right? Like, people can either pop off when they're nervous, or they can sort of crumble under the pressure, right? So, I mean, it really just depends. It's up to Funhavers for them to show us how they're handling the stress and how they're handling the nerves, because they could level up with the nerves. They could feel unleashed, like, hey, no, our Pearl has not been great. Let's just all kind of just brawl it out. Let's just sort of just confidently team fight together, and that could catch and sort of disrupt the Shopify Rebellion game plan, right? Their sort of methodical approach to the game.
You know, here we are at Agent Select. We're seeing, you know, the classic Alexis KO come out, the Corrupted KO as well, which is expected. We see the Noya KJ come out. So we're seeing both a double initiator comp with a change initiator from Sova to Fade. Now, for our viewers, can you explain what that might mean for either team, Roy?
Yeah, so the Fade is very good at clearing around the mids, as well as handling sort of the A main side of the map. Sova, of course, is a little bit better towards the B side of the map, able to push oppers off with the drone, something that obviously Fade does not have. But in terms of, you know, the pressure to hit sites, I would say they're both relatively around the same amount, right? Like, there's scans that you have to worry about when you're anchoring the sites, as well as, you know, you sort of positions that you're playing, the one and done. So you do need support on the site. You can't just let the scans sort of go uncontested. But overall, I feel like it's about to be a very similar game plan for both of these teams. But I do want to sort of start pointing the fingers back towards Dodonut here, right? Because they don't have the drone. So if you're on the defense side of Pearl and you're playing Jet, you kind of know that. And so you're going to have to be an op abuser. You're really going to have to sort of pick up the operator, make them sort of like mess with their pacing, and sort of take the match into your own hands.
Well, folks, we are one map away from Shopify Rebellion Game Changers maybe making history, and I know two great people to send it to. It is Nerds and Zobi on the call.
Thank you so much, Liz and Roy. Compañeros, videojuego está caliente. This game is heating up. Shopify Rebellion, their map pick, their choice, their game. Is it going to be the year 2025 of Game Changers, or is Funhavers going to build a mountain, climb it, and then get the reverse sweep?
And this isn't just bias, this is analysis, right? Shopify
Sure.
Rebellion have won this map twice in the closed qualifiers. Funhaver, nil. They've played it twice, they've lost it twice. So 11-13, and I believe it was a 9-13. Not only have they lost it, but they're still making changes, right? They switched from a Raze to the Jet for Zeki. They've just switched Blast as well from the Killjoy to the Cypher. And I'm curious to see how that's going to change the retake dynamic in particular when you don't have that lockdown in effect. But gotta get past the pistol, gotta get to the weeds of this map first. Nerds, if we want to get that far.
If we do. And I feel like in my heart of hearts, it's just the stats are there, right? I can't even be biased here. The stats are in that favor, right? Like, Shopify have it.
Like Roy even said, right? Dodonut has to step up. Dodonut's the one that oppressed FlyQuest Red on this map, where Starbound was going explosive on the Phoenix. So we'll see if it carries over, but a pistol round to start things out. The slow B scale up. You already have Noya doing what Sentinels do. The lurk over towards mid. Let's see how Funhavers respond.
A fast take comes through. Dodonut already has control of backside here. Blast up top towards Heaven. Plant to fall down, but the first blood falls in favor of Zeki. So they're going to pick this up here. Jump down, need to split the difference, and the difference is there. The numbers falling in favor of Shopify. Pyro peaks and Pyro falls. Tim, the last player standing here up against the presidential aim and the Dodonut. The Dodonut.
Oh. And I liked Tim had the read that Noya might have lurked through B-Link, but it is not enough. A crossfire of death. And again, we talked about Dodonut, the space making. Not only did they claim, but they kept a pillar of support there in halls. So Funhavers, who kind of respected the site take, minus some utility, is not able to pierce back through. So this time, Shopify Rebellion, no 0-4 here. They're getting off to the right start.
And they have had a pretty good success against other teams like Blue Otters with their retakes. So I understand why they leave it for the retake. But unfortunately, in this case, Shopify Rebellion just had a slight leg up advantage here.
Oh, I like this knife. Gets decent info on A. Allow Shopify Rebellion, okay, regroup, maybe lean towards B here, but look at the immediate response from Funhavers after they've been found out, okay? Heavy hand the B site, maybe draw them into this trap, and this is where Mel, the center of her calling, comes into question, and she has made the right pivot. And hopefully Sarah, I was gonna say with the Alodrome, will be able to spot it out, but this is more just for flair, for the fake out, right? To keep these players fixed on the B site in case it's a follow through. You do have your KO, you do have Corrupt here. They're gonna be the one that spots it on the jiggle and calls in the cavalry.
Falling back. They send the knife out to clear as much space. They know who's going for that plant. Gives them info. As Noya has gotten the space towards Art, meaning that they can immediately take this Shopify Rebellion. This post-plant setup almost reminds me of how Funhavers has been playing, where they take a lot of space on the extremities. Shopify, they're on the buy-up, so it's so simple for them to just hold it through.
I like the site smoke. I like how they're playing around it. And it is just one after another, dropping like flies for Funhavers.
Yeah. Funhavers on the save, dying through it. Zeki to find one, Blast, finding none.
And then you're just going to shuffle the Bulldog to your teammates so they don't lose much here. And I'm expecting as well then to see that, you know, trademarked buy-up of a rifle, hopefully up from Noya to supplement the rest of the buy. And again, if we see a 3, a 4-0 snowball here, then maybe we're on the fast track to history in the making, nerds. But again,
Fast track to history.
Yeah, this challenge, I like it. It's showing that Donut's getting comfortable. And that was a win con for this team on a map like Pearl. And we'll see if it continues.
That's a bar right there. I just gotta give you props for that. Because in my mind, Funhavers is one of those teams that they qual from the top, right? They're very oppressive in terms of their aim and play style. Where Shopify Rebellion have been in situations before where they were the underdogs and they had to claw their way out. So they're comfortable here. As Zeki's getting comfortable falling back, they don't want the fight, at least not this early, especially into a potential stack. Donut on the swing with the shoulder peek. They're dashing through, breaking the crosshair. Alexis to find them and the rest to fall. It's up to Corrupt, taking the 1v2, wins it through the smoke at 8 HP. They are still back here. The flick from Alexis lands as there you just have Tim alone on the A site. Oh, they peek into him here, and they don't know exactly where they are. Dodo not wide on the angle.
They're waiting
not
on
waiting
Blast.
for the flash.
They're trying to keep these players at bay for as long as possible for that moment. And it works. Like, that's why you had that little mini random gravity well. That's why you had, you know, Tim trying to hold it out, trying to keep these players in Art. Blast is like, make time for me. And they deliver on the dot to get that round on the board after what started as catastrophe out of the coordination of Shopify Rebellion, right? This fight in the connector, and I mean, it really did just come down to 2 players stepping forward. Corrupt with their 2-piece, Blast with their 2-piece. And that is how you get that rifle under your belt.
We saw a glimpse of the economy. It's a broken, but not fully, you know, unsaturated buy. Funhavers do have some vibrancy in their purchase, I guess, but they're not going to be committing to this A fight. They get some info and leave Corrupt to potentially knife out.
I like it. I wish Sarah got seen by 0 point, though, because now you're questioning, okay, where's the gap? Where are the players? And you're going to find out real quick. Null command ripped, the fast high rate through Art. You're going to facilitate that with information off the drone. And now you trust in your teammates to clear out sight for you.
Oh, Pyro to find the first on Dodo. The rest of the team flooding in. Corrupt back in the smoke. Tim to get some more. The doubles, the triples found. It's down to these last 2 players, and Alexis has been farming them. Low HP for Sarah as they play recovery on that spike. Blast, though, not afraid of being the last player standing. We saw them once before make nothing out of something, but they have to get the first on Alexis if they want that to happen.
Wow, I mean, the impact of the initiators ringing true here, right? Pyro grandstand on the side, a great attempt at an anchor, but they get overwhelmed, right? And the thoroughness of the utility, right? The drone to facilitate the site tick while all the players were heavy through art. And then even just the 0 point, right, from Alexis, the extra sprinkle of safety on top when recollecting the spike. And all of that is because they are trying to keep things clean here for this first half. And look at these shots as well, right? I mean, you're getting pushed by a shotgun and you are tracking it through the air to a T.
Oh, the knife is coming a little late. It's gonna scam these players. They can't get out of it. Unfortunately, Zeki not gonna be able to capitalize. Sarah on the double. They got the Hunter's Fury as well. And at this point, the eco farm is growing all of its crops.
Wow. Flawless there. Sarah just bodyguard extraordinaire for Dodo Nut there. And yeah, Fire Knight is not going to be happy. I mean, it feels so early on for a timeout, but it's so needed here. Because again, they haven't really found a way to counter that art control. They haven't really found a way to counter the A main control. And they tried last round. No, I'll give them that, but they didn't have weapons. It was an eco do or die. And we look back, right, at how this all culminated with, again, expansive control over the site, expansive control over mid from Noya, and they've had no chances to even really play retake here in an advantage situation or even in an equivalent situation.
Oh, just these lurks out of Blast have been so good. But I'm gonna have to agree with you, Zobi. That's gonna be not only one thing that they're talking about, right? How can we equalize the shots? But more than that, how are they going to adapt to the ultimates that Shopify Rebellion have here? How are they gonna maintain that control? They do have a really good ultimate in their hands here, specifically the Cosmic Divide out of Astra, out of Tim.
For me, like, again, in my analytic brain, I want them to fight art. I want them to maybe even fight into mid plaza, right? Because usually expect, okay, maybe a lurking killjoy through art where they're brunt to the forces through A main. Shopify hasn't been doing that. And I think that's gonna be why they're 5-stacking main this time around. They're calling the bluff of Funhavers. They're calling that they're gonna fight heavy here over towards A main. And it's probably gonna be a lethal collision.
Oh, Dodo Nut popping that Blade Storm does not find value. Tim gonna stop them. Hunter's Fury invested here. It's going to corral these two players, tags them up, but does not find them. Tim's at low HP. If they can get that ultimate out of the hands, it can be crucial for them, but the regen shields are there. Pyro spamming through the smoke is gonna put Shopify Rebellion at a disadvantage so early in the game.
I mean, that smoke's gone. If you make the pivot to the B site, you have, look who's pushed up all the way through main. Zeki holding the angle, so yeah, you have to just re-hit here. You have to carry on what Sarah started, right? That Hunter's Fury got lots of these players to low HP, knocking on death's door. We'll hope that they can finish the job, and they're making the adjustment. They're heading towards the B site, leaving Noya deposited. And the concern here is that, yeah, Blast in their utility, yes, Blast is towards A, but they know that this is a possible B pivot. They're trying to sell it, but with, again, Zeki B long, they know that they're not actually committing to that.
At least not yet. Art control picked up by Shopify Rebellion. Noya on the other end of this. Pyro at low HP. They break it, and Blast knows. Sarah to find Tim. They were low as well. Nightfall is going to make it easy for Blast to take them. Only finds one, but one's what you need here. Alexis with a double out of nowhere. Off the utility, but the timing not in their favor. Noya to find one more. Alexis needs to stick this plant. Zeki's going to rush it to try and stop it, but it's planted for safe. And look at this. The ultimate popped to deny the retake. How smart of a play. Alexis is even going to be rezzed here. 5-1 for Shopify Rebellion.
I need a replay of that upshot. How is that not a collapse for Zeki?
Luck of the draw, shot through the leg.
KO shield falling from the null command, keeping Noya alive in that situation. Like, it's insane. You mentioned it, right? Like, just that Zeki has the gall to re-swing that after the blades are stripped away when they have that operator in hand. Instead of saving it, instead of it being a core of the defense. And I mean, you mentioned it, Alexis just never hesitant in these big picture moments, right? 10-3 right now, up 5-1. It's another eco. And Shopify Rebellion, they're about to hit their safety net of a 6th round.
Yeah. And they're going on to just solo blast, fast rotate. I mean, sure, they used a decent chunk of ultimates, but it's an eco round. Unless picks are found for Funhaver, it's not really going to come into question until later on, especially considering Blast is the first on the scene. Dodo Nuts, there's Zeki with the trade, though. They cannot pick up this weapon. They're just being spammed down by Mel.
It is perfection on paper for Shopify Rebellion right now. I mean, even when Funhavers think they have these sneaky little plays like that Astra Star, so you can have 3 players funnel into hulls to try and take down the raid boss Dodonut, it is not working. And like a scuttling crab, Funhavers are being chased around this map to no avail. And I mean, even if Donut does fall, right? She does her job. She gets 2. Mel is there to play off of Alexis's frag grenade. Like you cannot do any wrong right now if you're Shopify Rebellion. 6-1, guns and ults for Funhaver. This is a round where you win it, or you make your chances at VCL split 1 goodbye.
That's such a tall task to ask, Zobi. But it's exactly the case. Funhavers already feeling the pressure towards the B site. A cosmic divide invested out of Mel. Trip destroyed. You hear it out of Blast. Cypher knows Dodona could be on this other end of it. And what a fake. What a fake.
They've gotten the site for control. They've gotten it for free. You can see the Astra. You can see the awareness from Tim, but it's too late, right? The job is up. The jig is up. Donut's deposited over towards B to crunch late into the round. I mean,
they're going to be the one lurking this time.
I mean, Funhavers wanted a retake, and they're going to get it. They have to invest in Ultimate. They have to invest
everything.
This cosmic divide. How are they going to leverage it, though? When, again, you don't even know where these players are. Blast is aware, but can they deal with it? The time is going to be everything, nerds.
There it is. The cosmic divide found. Zeki peeks on through the smoke. Tim able to capitalize the tap onto the bomb. Pyro's going to stick it, though. Wait, this retake could go sour. Sarah's there. Alexis to find one. Taking down Corrupt off on the side. In the timing, it's critical. Ultimate pop for Blast here, but the app's been stuck. And there it is. The second, the ult, the round they needed to win.
But it took everything. All 3 ults, all of the players. And they were literally seconds away from losing that round because Alexis's grenade did land. But Funhavers, I said that was a must win, and that is how you played it. Even when you got played, even when the fake out on B was sold beautifully by Dodona, and you had nobody on this A side. Like, everything was working against you, and you pull it out. 2-6, but look at the economy, right? Even if you won that round, you won the battle. Are you gonna win the war?
That's the question. Guerrilla tactics need to come through here. Being scrappy, finding those heads, going for some hero plays on Blast with that Guardian. They get flooded out with this ultimate. Like, you just get out of here, Blast. We'll push you away.
Hopefully they can punish off this trapwire, but Dodona, again, just the updraft over, like it's not even there. They don't even need to take Hall's control this round, right? There weren't. Maybe there's a shotgun there. Again, it's an eco here. Here we go. Dive in.
Zeki, though, up close and personal. It's not going to be phasing them. Pinstripes are falling right now. Down to the 1v1. It's back and forth. Call it a lollipop. Blast on the other end. Noya hears it, has the bomb, and has the shots. 7th secured for Shopify Rebellion.
Wow. Guaranteed a lead at the half, and we talked about how it was this kind of back and forth chess match over on Fracture where the adjustments, the board awareness for both teams was at its peak here. But Funhavers and their adjustments, they're not colorful. They don't look like they're changing enough here. And again, credit, it was Nico. There's not much you can do. And even then, making it down to a 1v1 because of Blast staying alive and fighting in off of Zeki's re-entry was nice. But nice isn't going to get rounds done right now. You need 5 just to have a chance, hopefully, in the second half. And right now, with how Shopify Rebellion is playing, I mean, they're not even worried, right? They avoid the 0 point. They get the orb uncontested. Funhavers looks scared.
Yeah, that is a solid point. And who wouldn't be?
Zeki?
Noya on the other end of this. Oh, I mean, you said Zeki, I got Noya. Guess we take the gamble and seems like it works. Hunter's Fury picked up and immediately invested. Mel taking Tim because of the timing. Dodo Nuts there. They are thriving. Shopify Rebellion right now is looking hot off the press. The brand new ticket for success for these teams.
You save? I mean, you have a Guardian and a Bucky, right? You have to get better weapons than these if you were even considering it. Blast has swapped out. Pyro, again, you don't have a rifle to save, so go for the dive. Go to see if there's a gun upgrade. And even then, they think it's better just to save the Guardian. Maybe look for a kill out CT where you can isolate one, a Dota Nut taking additional space. That would be the gun. Can you get the job done? Yep, there it is. They're going to grab it and run away. I'm calling it here. The save, full swing. And at this point, again, it's just the lead growing with each passing second for Shopify Rebellion. And what I love about that round, nerds, is that I talked about how they kind of had a mirror for the A-take, right? Where they were mass leading the charge art. They had the solo lurk of Noya A main. Well, what they do, they just switched it back to the default, right? Where Noya, they show she can be a standalone force mid plaza. She can be a standalone force art. She takes down Zeki, for crying out loud, who's been really clean in being a distraction, a crosshair draw on the retake, so they didn't have that element there when they were countering this A plant.
The ring around the rosy makes me laugh. But that element that you're discussing, they have to find it if they want some shot of success. 8-4 still not bad on the table, but with a save like this and a fractured buy, you have 2 rifles in hand. Can you? Like, is there at least a shining light here?
Like, your duelists, we couldn't even see if they had a gun. Like a classic, a deagle. Like, like they have a classic in hand. They have, like, no shield, and they're still, like, light years probably away from this blade storm with how they've been playing. And look at this, right? It's an eco round. Shopify Rebellion is fully prepared for Funhavers to get a little crazy, right? To get a little creative with a mid plaza exec. And it's just not happening. Funhavers, again, isn't changing anything.
They've already used the timeout. So Shopify, like, has even more pressure added onto this layer. Even if Funhavers wanted to time out in this half, they wouldn't be able to. I have a strong suspicion on the second half we're going to see a very early timeout if we don't see Funhavers pick up another round. I mean, even then, 8-4, you still are not feeling super secure.
No, not at all. And I mean, again, Pro maybe feels like a little bit of an attack cider map when you think of the design of being long. When you think of how, these star sentinels like Noya can lurk their way, farm their way into spots that are catastrophic, and even they're doing it now, right? Just delaying Zeki. But this is what you need. Blast, the statistical MVP of map 1, to stand their own and force Shopify into a plan B.
Wait, that was a good pick. Mel out of commission now. They still have the calling, though. Dota has the ticket of Zeki locked. We do see the Nightfall invested for this retake. Spots out 2. Don't know exactly where they are, but the info's there from Sarah. Pyro on that on that Vandal. Finds the double, and then immediately falls themselves. Blast, the last hero alive. Unfortunately, left in the past here.
Running back of a clutch, not to be for Blast.
Round in the half.
And it's the last round of the half. Funhavers, do or die, scraping the bottom of the barrel for economy. Zeki, this is why they went no shield classic, was to get this last round anchor point of this operator, right? So you maybe solo, Zeki B, maybe send an eye early for support, and then you fully commit to the A site with your Sentinel, with your players, because again, that has been just the go-to for Shopify Rebellion GC, because they aren't losing it.
They can't. Not here, not now. In a historic moment of VALORANT. They can't. And Shopify Rebellion, they have the Blade Storm invested, and now the null command on top of that to double up the layers of this attack. Art control has been a sore subject time and time again, and look who's there already. Donut on the high ground, spotting out Tim, up through it. Even at 2 HP, they push into it. Alexis to be the one to fall, but Donut still thriving. Counter neural theft as they fall back. They know exactly where Shopify Rebellion is. Funhavers is aware. They fight through this? No, they fall back.
They overcommitted to the rotate. Corrupt might have the timing at least onto Sarah to have an advantage in the retake, but Sarah's so cautious. And she gets the job done. And she's gonna stick around even, maybe to see if anybody else has similar plans. Doesn't quite work out. Donut, the thorough clear. It's gonna be a 3-on-4 retake. And again, I talk about how they've not had an advantage in the retake, and they're even more deterred by the fact that this Jet, Zeki doesn't have a gun for the retake. They have an op in hand still.
No. I mean, maybe if they had their ultimate, but you know how that story goes. Sarah picking Blast up from the side, and Dodonut even at 2 HP, is looking for whatever they can find. They are confident. That's exactly what you want out of Donut. Not the frags, but the confidence to fight them through. They have a wraparound out of Zeki. The classic is gonna land at least one bullet, but with a classic in hand, there's not much you can work off of. 10-2 at the half for Shopify Rebellion.
Switching sides.
What a statement way to mark your name in the VALORANT Esports history books. 3 rounds away from being the first Game Changers team as a full squad to make a VCL League split. And again, if it's close, right? If it's like a round or 2 separating, then you might doubt that they deserve this. But when it is dominance like this against a team that made a deep run in the playoffs for VCL Split 3, you cannot deny them this title, this opportunity. And they are going to take it and run. This half, this pistol is everything for Funhavers. We'll see. Maybe it is an attack-sided map. Maybe we will have a comeback in the making for this team.
Setting the story and the stage, Zobi. Funhavers. They give the pressure onto themselves. I mean, right now they're just leaving mid uncontested and going off onto each of the mains, trying to see what Shopify Rebellion have. They had a bid for some info, but they gained nothing in return. It's not yet. They're ready to pop. Are they? ML's on the other end of this, gets info. They're just going to fall back.
Play retake. But look at this, the hesitancy from Funhavers to not commit. They have less than a minute left and they're backpedaling to the B site where you haven't even gotten through Noya, the Killjoy utility, the long smoke. Yeah, I'm glad that they're trying to re-hit A here, but they were spotted by the 0 point. So if I'm Shopify Rebellion, I might be anchoring this A site.
And they have that 0 point broken. Sarah with a shock dart in hand, but Zeki's caught the timing down onto Meltim as well. They have the numbers advantage and the plant with Pyro. The retake to come through. Alexis on the back foot here towards Secret. Dodo not getting spotted is critical because they can catch Zeki off guard as well. Zeki not looking in the right direction, but neither is Dodo Nut. They don't see them, and she just falls. Alexis with the refrag. But at the end of the day, they're just being picked apart. It's down to Alexis in the 1v3. Plus, on the other end of it, unfortunately, they're tagged up. It's going to go to Funhavers. They find the first. They start something. See how it goes.
And 2 things to take away from that round. 1, glad they recommit to A. You're committing B long, right? Like that late into a round, it is not a good look. 2nd, it is truly time for Zeki with the entry reigns. Insane impact in that round for opening up the site and maintaining that space as well after Spike goes down. We talked about fighting the frag on the Donut. And even though Alexis gets the refrag, then you know Noya is also here. And that round felt like how they wanted to play Fracture, right? Everybody play for main, play the post-pit utility, and have Blast be the true-to-life threat. And that is what happened on that pistol.
Oh, this is a trap in the making. Flash to come through, Pyro on the side. Dodo Nut is in the smoke, but she gets found out. I mean, the trap was there. It was laid. Excited, but anticipated by Funhavers, it seems.
Yep, they deal with it. They're taking the site. Mel has slipped in, but even then, we talk about thoroughness. They're gonna clear this corner hand in hand, and it's all down to Noya in the 1v4, and these Sentinels are just reading each other's minds.
Yeah. Funhaver has got the 2 round up that they needed to start building into this. But this round is so critical to take and convert the bonus.
Look at these weapons. They are designed to do so, right? Pyro with the Outlaw, the regen shields aplenty for Shopify Rebellion. There's a world. And we talked about, okay, a 9-3, a 10-2. Those 3rd round conversions, like, that is almost a must-have unless Shopify Rebellion royally messes up. And again, with how this squad's been playing, you can't count on that.
Wonder if this is going to be kind of telling us if it's attack-sided or Shopify Rebellion-sided. And now the pressure's flipped to Shopify, right? To prove, once again, in my mind and in the mind of everyone else, that, yeah, they deserve this spot. 10-4 was not a fluke.
And I liked that Astra Star in Link denying the B Link person, that KO, that Ash or that Alexis information here, but they didn't care, right? They have Noya. I love how they're playing her utility split between Art and Door instead of as a stronghold on site. Because what do? They couple the storm grenades with Mel and Astra utility. So just again, relying on the coordination, relying on the long-term chemistry this team has built as champions together. And as a result, look at this. It's devolving into a B split. If Donut finds a kill here and shuts off half of this hit, it's over.
Oh, there it is. The null command drawn out. No utility. Zeki's gonna break the crosshair of Alexis, allowing Blast to take the space. And they are losing numbers here. Pyro to find on Dodo. The conversion seeming imminent. They have 3 players for Shopify Rebellion for this retake, and they have no utility just yet. Make that 2 as Sarah falls as well to Zeki.
Save.
Yeah.
It's been called. In that round, right? They just placed a single-handed trust almost in each individual player to find their kills. Alexis was up first, Donut up second, and even Sarah tried to find an opening to no avail. And I'm curious, right? I think Funhavers, right? They probably had Donut sectioned off halls as well, so Alexis didn't have that support from her teammate to take those duels. So again, showing the complexities of Funhavers and the creativity on their attack half that may have been lacking on the defensive front. Pyro trying to hunt down Noya. Thought they caught a whiff of her, but she's going to survive safely with Mel. These weapons carried forward into the next round. I mean, it's a little bit different when you're saving when you're up 5 rounds versus the saves we were seeing out of Funhavers over on Fracture. So Effies, they have 2 timeouts to burn, right? Use one now.
They do. I was about to say this seems like perfect timeout territory because of the 2 and because they want to stop the momentum that Funhaver has, and it's perfect that they're red right here because right now it's bleeding for Shopify Rebellion. Some of these rounds that they could be clutching up, that was the round they wanted to switch the momentum on the buy up, and it didn't work. It didn't land.
Yeah, and this first half, right, was dominance from start to finish for Shopify Rebellion. Minus blips on the radar, and it really was off of, in my mind, Donut and Alexis more than anything. But every player had their shining moments. And this half now, right, they have not won a round. The Eco, won out by Funhavers. They are getting their ideal half in the making for a 10-2 comeback. I want to see what Effies has cooked up for this timeout. Because again, there's those 2 rifles saved. Where do you put them?
I mean, because it's going to be fractured regardless. I feel like you could split them, so there at least is some sustainability on each site.
What do you give them to as well? I think you give one to Noya. She's going to solo B with that util. And then maybe look at this. They might go aggressive and set Doden up for success over towards A main. But Corrupt in the 0 point has always been on top of this kind of pressure.
One suppressed.
Spots out only 1. But that's not the reality. False information. But Corrupt has a read on it, at least to some degree. Like, hey, you know, these guys might be peering out here just shortly. Dodonut is the one with that rifle on the other end, waiting for the timing, ticked up onto Corrupt. Blast is there for the refrag, does not land too much. Mel just waiting for the rest of the team. A flash to come through. It's a little bit delayed, but look at this. It's going to be going back and forth between them. And Shopify on an eco, still managing to pick up some of these crucial fights and crucial head taps.
Well, what a counter, right? The Nova Pulse there keeps them at bay. And that was your choice to make if you're Funhavers. Dip, go quickly to B, or do you commit, lock down, bare your teeth at the players for Shopify Rebellion fighting a main? And they chose the former, and now they're going to explore the latter. They didn't have their Ashe deposited deep enough down B to commit to a B rotate fully, but now that it's down to a 3-on-3, they've given up the weapons to those players over towards a main. And now they have full trust in Noya, who I said was going to have a hero rifle in this situation.
30 seconds left.
Noya's been spotted. Pyro sends the Prowler. They don't hear much, so they have to take a gut call, and they know the call, but unfortunately not quick enough to the draw. Shopify down to 2 players and such low HP for Sarah. They're going to be the first to get spotted on this camera. What do they do here? They could peek. They have guns, but at the end of the day, they have to push in, at least to some degree. First one found on Sarah, and Alexis falls in suit.
All right. again, a half eco play out of Shopify Rebellion to get offensive over towards A main. Countered, adapted around for Funhavers. And it really was, I think, Tim cooking up that plan, right? With the Nova Pulse to fight the A main control. That moment right there when they flash as well. So they counter that kind of aggression. And even when they make the rotate over towards B, Tim is still playing the long game, right? With that gravity well, with the counter after clearing out halls to maintain, to splinter this double swing that they wanted to have to try and equate numbers from Shopify. So here we go. Another big round. And the op in hands for Donut.
Big on the investments as well. This money being spent on weaponry of big proportions, and the stack is moving its way towards, towards B. I don't think they've seen a whiff of this op just yet.
First time.
Will they change their mind here once they hear the shot ring, or if they have a player fall? Waiting on the other edge of it. Seeing what information Corrupt can get out of the KO. They take back something, clear things through. Dodo Nut peeks, but they're going to be safe. Finds the first. Tim's been spotted, dashes out, and Dodo Nut has the read. That's the spike carrier taken out of commission, and look at where the spike is headed at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you left your KO deposited over towards A main. They have to win this duel out against Sarah, or this rotation's gonna fall flat on its head. And as well, we just saw the differences between a Fade and a Sova pick, right? That Haunt not able to go as deep to clear out an operator angle. And now you're
30 seconds left.
vying with the consequences. You've lost your smokes as well. So you gotta rely on Zeki clearing out space off the cloudburst. And at this point, all the players for Shopify are here.
Wait, Sarah got one through the spam blast to counter. Dodo's there, and now look at this Shopify Rebellion. The numbers up, it's just down to blast. They carry them through, and the 11th has been found. This was the cook Effie's wanted. This, and I guess the bear is the chef that they needed.
The barista cooking up an espresso of success. I mean, okay. Is it the novelty factor of the operator? We'll have to see, right? You always get one element of surprise when you pull that weapon out for the first time on a map, right? I feel like Zeki never really got that moment, right? Because they never hit the B side, even when they were pushed up really deep long. And this time, Donut got the prime opportunity there when the Haunt doesn't go deep enough, when the recall smoke fades from Tim. And that's the impact early round you want to have. And now, okay, Funhavers realize, okay, we have an operator to play around. Mid plaza is the go-to. What does Shopify Rebellion do to counter it?
That's such a deep knife. It's hard to avoid. Blast gets caught by theirs as well. So both knives landing onto some of these players, giving some info to these teams, and now it's dictating, hey, we can go into alley here. But on the counter, Blast has been found. They're not respecting this lurk at all.
All right. In the chaos, they'd end Art. There's a huge opportunity for Alexis and Noya to pinch perhaps here in mid plaza. They're just trusting in Mel and Sarah on site to hold down this position. I want to see Mel maybe even take space main here. And they are not going to.
Oh, the timing was there, but the shots just whiffed. Pyro to be spotted, immediately countered by a Hunter's Fury, and Corrupt is found, taken down. And Funhavers have already lost two critical players. Blast off the side, it is there. And we blast the counter onto Zeki, peeks on through, pinstripes, and when you're trading back and forth, it falls in favor of Shopify, who have the numbers, who have the ultimate invested into this round already.
At that point, Tim, you've had the late round impact. Now you have to make it the 1v2 clutch. Donut, again, opts a double-edged sword unless you have the Blade Storm. The silver lining here for Tim, I was gonna say, is that the null command faded, but they never got the plant down, and now they're out of options, they're out of time.
Oh, they're trying to play for it, but Donut just gets the win with shotgun. For the match point for Shopify Rebellion.
Oh, look.
And you may delay it, but it could be inevitable. One round to go for this squad. That round, they wanted it so bad, right? They invest the null command, they invest the Blaze Storm. It could be another old cycle till we get the job done, but for now, it has been success. Tim, again, just we're seeing Funhavers feel a little shaken, even down to the 1v2 clutches. Just Donut, Talked about novelty factor. She's trying to reinvent the element of surprise. Your last thing you expect is one mid door. Donut could get the angle onto Tim, onto Zeki. Pick your poison. It'll be lethal.
Gonna clear out Art. Not Cap onto Mel. Tim on the other end of it. Zeki's lined up. Still finds one. The trade is there for Sarah. And Mel's gonna be the one to fall, but Dodo Nut is there on top of it. And I am just enthralled in how Shopify Rebellion, through all the chaos, managed to still have a numbers advantage.
It's Blast alive side by side with the IGL Corrupt, but they are separated halfway across the map. It's all down to Corrupt.
They have a full kit of utility.
But it's a 1v3. And look at this. They're not even, like, giving them 1v1s here. You have no information about where these players are. And if you use that 0 point, they're going to know where you are. So let's see what lineup they have cooked up to maybe throw some red herrings across the map. But silver lining here, right, is that all that Killjoy utility offline. They're not going to know your link. And I love this play from Shopify Rebellion. Wait for the plant to go down. It loses the element of surprise. You have it narrowed to a very confined part of the map. And you go to town.
More than that, Zobi, this would lock in history for Shopify Rebellion. To get into the semantics of it, to get into the hype of it, the spike to go down and the rotate to be found immediately here. Shopify Rebellion now know. There it is. 0 point invested along with the dart. They double up. Dodo Nut is there with the shorty. If that's how it ends, that's how it starts here in the smoke. One found, another gone. It's Shopify Rebellion, Game Changers, making it into VCL 2-0 against Funhavers.
And wow, oh wow, was that series gonna pan out that way after Funhavers lose Fracture? Shopify Rebellion GC have done it. All of those weeks put in, denied. The system, the Riot ecosystem developing as we promote our first full Game Changers team. We'll see if we add to that tally later on, but nerds, an honor to be here for history in the making and in such a dominant 2-0 sweep as well. I would not have had it any other way.
I can't get the smile off my face, Zobi. I literally cannot get the smile off my face. Because watching GC and seeing that from Berlin all the way through here, from version 1 way back in the day, and seeing these teams grow.
Bro, like, I was at the Astral Clash LAN when V1 was first created. I was at Game Changers Champs in Berlin, and now just being here to cast this, I mean, okay, I may have predded Funhaver to win the series, but that was denied the production curse because the whole time I've had the FlyQuest jersey on.
It was a double agent!
What do you know?
Well, speaking of agents, we have two people who are interested in going to break down a little bit more. We're going to be heading to a break right now. It was an honor to cast with y'all. See y'all in the next one.
wonderful electronic invention I want you to see.
We got to control the laws of nature.
Well, folks, history has been made. Shopify Rebellion Game Changers is the first Game Changers team to qualify for the Challengers League. Roy, I was near tears in the moment when it happened. Chills all up and down my body. I'm almost wordless because I have so much to say, Roy, but I'm gonna hand it over to you right now.
2025 year of women. I've called it. Okay, before and after. This is the year for the gap to be finally closed. It's a year for everyone to show themselves, starting with Floor, now with Shopify Rebellion. I mean, there's really not much more to say. The proof is right there. They've shown themselves. They've proven themselves among their peers, and it's really just the future is looking bright.
I mean, what more proof do you need than this game today, right? Like every single person on that Shopify Rebellion team really, I mean, they had a lot to fight for with the Funhavers. Funhavers were putting up a fight, and obviously just round after round proving exactly why they have earned this spot in Challengers. And there were some amazing moments during that game today. You know, there was this one shot Dodo Nut hit with the op that I thought I blinked and I missed. But back in the beginning, it wasn't back and forth. At the beginning, it was a 2-10 half. That wasn't very, that was very one-sided. But then Funhavers started kind of crawling back towards the end. But Roy, what do you think at the end was what made Shopify run away with it and take the entire game?
Yeah, so obviously for the first half is a clear talking point, right? The 10-2 finish for the SR side, they're very well drilled on their attack. They're very comfortable. You could tell how well orchestrated they were. But as soon as they get on the defense side, I mean, people, like, we can't forget, Pearl is still a very attack-sided map, right? And as soon as SR gets on the second half on their defense side, they start getting a little bit rolled. You know, steam is building up for the Funhaver side, but the big difference was the one that we highlighted in the pre-show, Liz. It was simply the operator. As soon as the operator came online for Dodo Nut, they won out for the entire half. That's the flaw of Fate, is there's no drone. There's no way to figure out where the opper is. So they're struggling a little bit with the Dodo Nut power, and I think she put a lot of pressure on them. And to combine that with a sprinkle of Noya popping off, a sprinkle of Lexi playing a lights out game as well on the support role. I mean, it's really just a masterclass.
I dare say everyone was getting active, because that game was like watching people on fire, absolutely just activated, in motion, never stopping. I mean, shout out to Mel for calling an insane game, especially that last round, that adaptation, just to bring everyone back into spawn to make sure that they would be ready for Corrupt wherever they were going to plant. I mean, just truly if you are in the Challengers League right now and you see Shopify, Rebellion, GC have qualified, that is terrifying, Roy, because these 5 folks on this team by themselves are formidable, but together are maybe a titan to deal with.
Absolutely. I think the big thing that we need to keep in mind is this is not even their final form. This is like their first form. They're going to have many more forms to come, Liz. They just got Dodona integrated into the roster. They've not really had ample time to really drill their map pools. So I think with time, we're going to see a whole level up for this roster, a completely new identity, and hopefully higher highs for them as well.
Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about at the beginning with the pre-show, is that, you know, Dodona is the new addition to the team and hasn't had relatively a lot of time to adjust to this team, right? You know, obviously Floor going to Apex, like we talked about, they are not the same players, so it's not just a one-size-fits-all like we were saying.
Yep.
But Dodona, just speaking, you talking about her op, she seemed to fit right in.
Yes, I love it. You can just tell that she's very drilled on that operator. She's very fundamental player. She's not really like trying to go for the highlight reel. She's really just like, it felt like every kill that she got was just so insanely impactful when on their defense side where they really needed it to close out the series was just like Dodona. Every single kill was just massive. Opening the rounds, putting pressure, slowing down the pace, slowing down the momentum for the Funhavers side. Really just like siphoning away their energy one round at a time with their operator.
It was absolutely masterclass, brilliant. But of course, we have to talk about our MVP of today. Dun, 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 dun. Little drum roll, please. And it is Sarah. And Sarah is someone, you know, we say she frags all the time. Sarah frags. But she is someone who I think kind of flies under the radar even a little bit, you know, more so than others because, you know, she's not on that duelist role. But Roy, she is consistently incredibly impressive.
Yeah, I think it's just the Floor effect. Floor just kind of she's a sight. She's like a black hole of kills. She's taking all the stats. And I think as soon as the sort of the Floor black hole was out of the picture, that now we're starting to realize the actual impact that other players on this roster have had. Like Sarah, she has an average game, is still better than most people's average performance. Sarah has a good game, you really notice it. And it's in this series, and specifically her, Noya, Lexi, all of them really have had a pretty outstanding performance. But of course, Sarah, when she's having a good game and you sort of notice it because they're on a supportive role. They're not really, if they're doing their jobs correctly, they shouldn't even have kills, right? So the fact that they're farming means that, you know, they're getting the space, she's putting herself in a really good position, and she's able to capitalize off everything that's happening within the team dynamic.
I think something that's really interesting about Sarah is that one, her ult never misses. It's like a comm ult, right? Like her ult just never misses.
How do they do it? They can't even ping the map anymore. How do they do it?
I don't even play Sova. Because I'm not good enough. And Sarah just makes it look like it's a walk in the park. It's absolutely fantastic. Insane. But how Sarah specifically plays with her team, because I think a lot of times when you talked about like the previous Shopify Rebellion, it was always like the Lexi Floor combo. You know, the combination. But Sarah has always been on Sova and has always been kind of the linchpin for this team to make sure that they have the info, that their entries are good, and having that mechanical prowess to back it up.
Yeah, I think, okay, this might be a little crazy, okay?
Okay.
But I think with the departure of Fluorescent from this roster, we're going to see this team take on a different kind of identity where they don't really have an emphasis on a star player, which in my opinion is the true ultimate form of Valorant teams, where like you're not really relying on one individual player to have an outstanding performance, right? So now there's people that they don't feel a lot of pressure individually to kind of go crazy. So they just alternate kind of having impact wherever they need it. Everyone's sort of playing to this very high level. And because there's not a like, oh, Floor, go get kills, they need to like dial it in together as a team. And I think that is really the ultimate form of Valorant, to like sort of minimize the variance in this game and sort of the randomness that happens and like the things that are just out of control, like alt economy and you know, things that just are very hard to account for. I think this is the sort of dynamic that could lead to that sort of team where they can kind of all shine as a team and not really like a star player sort of structure.
You're right. I mean, talking about star players, like obviously Floor is absolutely incredible, and she is gelling incredibly well with Apex. But you know, like I said before in the beginning of the broadcast, this is a team game by far. No ifs, ands, buts about it. You need to be able to play together, and just something about Shopify Rebellion is just like a well-oiled machine. Like I feel like that does them a disservice. Like watching them is like watching, the most rehearsed, beautiful.
Yes.
It's wonderful. And this is like when you look at the bracket, you see, you know, their journey losing to Winthrop and having to beat Fly and now beat Funhavers to get here, it wasn't a walk in the park, like we said earlier. It was absolutely they earned their spot here, Roy.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, at this point, the haters have been converted, right? They've gone many more lovers. Now the haters are now the bar's been pushed up. Oh, how are they gonna perform on VCL? But now it's just a matter of time. If they do well in VCL, now what's the next bar? Oh, how are they gonna perform in Tier 1 when they eventually qualify? It's just the bar just keeps moving. That's the beauty of it all. And I'm happy to be here for the ride.
Well, someone else is also here for the ride. It is Sarah. We have our nice little interview with Sarah, who is our MVP currently. Sarah, how you feeling? Feeling pretty good. Sarah, you just made history. You are the first Game Changers team to qualify for Challengers. As of right now, maybe our team could do that at a later date. But Sarah, you are, dare I say, a game changer. It's cheesy, but it's true.
It's definitely a lot of fun. I'm really excited to actually play in Challengers. Mostly, like all those games, I was just having a lot of fun. So I'm really excited to play more.
You fun. Was there any pressure involved with this? This was a lower bracket. You only have one best of 3 to make it work, or was it just always kind of fun in mind?
I think there was definitely some pressure, but like we've been dealing with pressure for a really long time, and we've tried to like work out how to deal with it for a while, and we're definitely getting better at it. So I think that game we were definitely just having a lot of fun. We were just peaking, and that's kind of just how you win.
Talk to me about the addition of Dodonut. Obviously, Dodonut is newer to the team. We were kind of saying this entire cast floor, leaving to go to Apex in EMEA, needing that new duelist. You haven't had a lot of time to adjust with Dodo. So talk to me about that process and how she has been adjusting to the team.
Yeah, Karn's great, honestly. Like, we were running trials for a while. We were having a really hard time finding a player. We played with Dodo for like maybe 3 scrims, and we like already knew that she was probably going to be our best option, especially since we had so little time to like find a player. So like someone that was comfortable on duelists and like me not having to switch roles or something like that. It just seemed to fit well, and she works really well with like the team's vibes. We just get along really well. And yeah, she's been playing out of her mind. So
yes, absolutely. Insane. So have you, Sarah, to be fair. You have also been playing out of your mind like you always do. Something else I want to talk to you about is the community support that SRGC has had during this run. People, I saw Pansy tweeting, Sapphire tweeting, all these, like Kaide's watch partying, Mimi, Tarek's in chat right now. All these people are watching you make history. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I really appreciate the community. It means a lot that we can like maybe inspire some marginalized genders out there to compete, and hopefully just like one day have a bigger talent pool to pull from. Like maybe the next generation of gamers, like even if it's like 10%, 20% more women that are competing from a young age, more marginalized genders that are competing from a young age, then we'll be seeing like a mixed circuit in every game.
I love that. Absolutely 100%. And do you have any words of wisdom or advice to those who see themselves in you in the GC circuit, now knowing that it is literally proven, tangibly proven, that GC players can make it and will make it to Challengers?
You just gotta grind. I mean, I always say the same thing. It's just a grind. As long as you put in the time, like you can be that good.
Would you like to say anything to people who didn't believe in you?
I don't know. I don't want to be too mean.
Oh, you got you. Don't worry about it. I think they can imagine what you might say. We'll leave that to the imagination. But thank you so much, Sarah. Again, congratulations. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I was actually very surprised to hear that I got the MVP award because I thought Lexi played absolutely out of her mind that series. I just wanted to shine a light on Lexi.
Yes,
all my teammates played insane that series, but Lexi was playing out of her mind, just absolutely frying. Unreal series from her. So I just wanted to shout out Lexi really quick.
No, thank you for doing that. I mean, we talked about earlier before you came in here that this is a team game. This doesn't work without all 5 of you working together. And I think Roy said it on the desk of this. That was a life game for Lexi. Absolutely insane. So thank you for bringing it up and bringing that to everyone's attention. Because remember, every single one of these players on this team is absolutely incredible.
Thank you so much.
Again, Sarah, congratulations and enjoy today. Treat yourself. You deserve it.
Thank you.
Always great to talk to Sarah. But Roy, that's going to be it for us today on the desk. It has been a wild best of 3 that only went to 2 maps, but still absolutely wild. Like my heart is still kind of racing from all of it, because I want to say there wasn't so much on the line, but history could have been made, and it indeed was, Roy.
We love that. We love when people just rise to the occasion, honestly. But I think it feels like an end, but really this is just the beginning, Liz. We're just getting started. People are by the end of the season, they're going to be sick of you and I and the rest of the talent here completely supporting all these teams in VCL. Oh, I was muted on Discord, but luckily the stream could hear me, and that's really all that matters, Liz, okay? But I was saying that people are going to be sick of us by the end of the season. This is only the beginning. This is a closed qualifier leading into Split 1. We're just getting started, Liz. I can't even begin to emphasize that. By the end, they're going to hate you and I for being the Yapatron 9000s that we are, and it's going to be a glorious season for the players, for the talent, for the tournament organizer that has also moved in as well. It's going to be amazing, and we hope to see a lot more amazing VALORANT throughout the next few months.
And yes, I keep saying that SRGC have made history, but as Roy hinted at, this is just the beginning. SR has created or blown wide open the door and the path for so many others. But that's going to be it for us today on the desk. On behalf of Zobi, Nerds, Rory Production, and myself, thank you so much for watching, and congratulations again to SRGC. If you didn't believe, today is a great reminder that people's actions will always have more impact than your cynical words, and there's much more to see.
Wow.
Have fun, be safe, make good decisions, and we'll see you in Split 1.
No, Pyro's there, and the spray lands for Pyro and Tim. They might be low, but they still have the weapons here. Double for Noya. They've been carrying Shopify Rebellion. They've been doing so much for this team. 5 bullets, Blast, and a Dream. It's the Sentinel head-to-head here. Blast just slowly pushing out, and Sarah, fun orb farm here. My favorite part of Fraction. Just farm up orbs and get your ultimates online faster.
I mean, when it's this close of a game, it's going to come down to those pivotal rounds. Speaking of pivots, here we go.
Oh, the judge, though, up close and personal. You get to meet them firsthand. Noya's got the tickets locked here. The 3K for them. Should Noya on the other end of this gonna find Zeki? There's a trade, but it's gonna make them rumble. There it is, the Rolling Thunder. Aftershock invested as well. Dodo not hunting these two players. Tim in the corner doesn't get spotted, but Corrupt does. The trade found for Tim. Alexis, Sarah lining up. More than that, Zobi. This would lock in history for Shopify Rebellion. To get into the semantics of it, to get into the hype of it, the spike to go down and the rotate to be found immediately here. Shopify Rebellion now know. There it is. 0 point invested along with the dart. They double up. Dodo Nut is there with the shorty. If that's how it ends, that's how it starts here in the smoke. One found, another gone. It's Shopify Rebellion. Game change. No.